Greetings and welcome to Comics Coffee Metal. I am your host, Don Cardenas, and today I am joined by a returning guest and two brand new guests, but we're talking about a book that I've backed all the Kickstarters on. I haven't backed this newest one yet, but I will by the time this interview is over anyway, because it is an amazing book. It is My Neighbor Necromancer, and it is written by Dillon Gilbertson, drawn by Jason Piperberg, and beautiful colors by Luca Romano. Gentlemen, thank you for coming onto the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I had Dillon on. Was it like a year ago? Already like a year ago?
We did one for issue 2, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's probably a little over a year ago, but yeah.
Okay, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it was like just yesterday.
I know. Time's not real. Time's a flat circle.
And Jason, I've got to, have some interaction with you online. Since then, I've championed your dried digital brushes that are for sale. I absolutely love those things. They're so great for just like textures and whatever coloring I do and stuff. Like, it's just, I tell everybody about them, even not on social media, if they're looking for new brushes. And if anyone's a current listener to the show, you know that I'm like kind of a digital brush hoarder because it takes no space. So so I can just like whatever's there. But like these are they instantly became like go-tos for just adding a little extra grit and stuff and nice great stuff that I've needed to. And on top of you've been a fantastic artist. I really love My Neighbor Necromancer. I was just going through the first 2 issues again this afternoon, just reminding myself just how awesome that book is and how great it looks. And no short thanks to Luca's beautiful colors. Like Luca, the color choices you have on there, like just like the soft gradients, but like it almost feels it could be how I'm viewing it, but I feel like there's a kind of like just like a real like it's not flat obviously because there's gradients and all that, but like there's something in the saturation of it that when there are color holds and these bright magic effects, it just pops so much, and it seems and it when it's paired against Jason's line work, which is very just I want to say soft, just like clean but fluffy, or like just like soft and real, but I say that like in the most like complimentary way ever. Like it's just everything, nothing feels fake. Everything feels like clothes feel like they were worn clothes, floorboards look like they're old floorboards, and nothing seems artificial with everything. And the combo of you two is just amazing. And Dillon, the writing is just, I would die for Bibbits.
Yes.
I'm actually I'm spacing on the Skeleton Cat's name. I literally just I would die for him too. For that cat too.
Yeah. We have the best set of pets in the comic.
We love our pets in this one. It's good.
So I'm excited to see where the 3rd issue goes and all that, and talk about the campaign and all that stuff. But this is Comics Coffee Metal, so I have to ask, gentlemen, Comics Coffee Metal, what have you been digging lately? We can start with Dillon.
Oh gosh.
We can just go comics, coffee, whatever we're gonna do. You can do all 3 at once, where you can, somebody tells me Luca and I are going to take up a lot of time with metal. So let's
that could happen.
I'm so excited for you guys to talk about metal. When I reached out to you, like all I could think about was like Luca's going to love this and Don's going to.
I think you told me either on the show or like after recording, like you're like, oh, Luca is good at, like he's like a metal dude.
Yeah. So, every once in a while, there are times where I'll find what I think is a weird, crazy obscure metal band. I think I sent you one for a Necrogoblicon.
Oh yeah. I love those guys.
I know, like I just found them randomly. I'm like, this is wild.
Did you watch the talk show at all?
I said to Luca. Luca's like, I love these guys. I was like, what?
Have you watched the talk show?
I haven't seen their talk. I know they have one. What's the mascot's name?
You mean the Goblin?
Yeah, the goblin.
Fuck my life.
He's got a name of some kind.
Yes, he does. I need to know it now because I can't remember it. Names are bad for me.
He's anyway.
Nice. Last time we had talked a lot about like Static X and stuff, and I believe I've recommended
John. John Goblicon.
John
John
Goblicon. There you go.
Goblicon.
There you go. I love the fact it's just John
They
Goblicon.
John,
Just a guy. He's
It's
just
a
a
simple
guy.
gag, but it's it's the simple things that are best in life, I think. We talked a bit about like Static X and stuff. I think I recommended a band called Rivet Head to you, which
Rivet Head. I was trying to remember what it was. Yeah.
After I recommended to you, like they made their way back into like my playlist and all that. 'Cause I'm like, yeah, what happened to those guys and all that? And I've actually never like when I first got into them, it was like in the later 2000s. So like there really wasn't like a lot of like YouTube video stuff or of these obscure bands or whatever. And then so I just like looked them up and it's like they look nothing like what you would expect. Just like four dudes like would be like in a bar band doing like this Static X style industrial metal stuff. But yeah.
I like it when bands look like normal people. Like so I mean, and particularly because like my tastes, especially like with Static X. So I recently started listening to Spine Shank.
Okay.
And they're like they've got a very 2000s look to them. Like they look like a 2000s new metal band.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to watch their music videos. I don't want to see them live. I just want to listen to their music and rock out to it.
Yeah.
I wish they looked more like normal people, but I love it. That's probably what I'm kind of into right now is I've been listening to Spine Shank for a bit. But yeah, my tastes usually lean more towards like punk rock. Like I was telling you, like Anti-Flag. I really love Anti-Flag. Just like this angry, fast. The vocals will scream at you, but like I can understand them.
Yeah,
right. They're not growling. Like I don't know. If there are metal bands that are like that, I will gravitate toward them.
I would say you'd probably. Like earlier thrash stuff would probably be more like, or there's some hardcore crossover stuff that would. I'm trying to remember how their vocals are because it's been like for some reason it's just like a wash to me. I have ADHD, so sometimes like vocals and music just become part of the music for me. So I'm like, so if you're like, what did they say? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I was just like swimming in it. But there's a band called Big Ass Truck who. And they are amazing. There's another band. Well, I'm going to look them up. But comics writer Mark Bouchard, they recommended. Occasionally, they'll like message me with like, "Oh, you'll like this band," because they know my metal tastes. So I'm like, but they lean more into the punk hardcore stuff as well. But there's some good crossover here and there. I'll try to find them. But some of that kind of stuff I think works out. I can't remember the name. I'll have to message you, but like, some of that kind of stuff, I'll try to send some stuff because mostly with clean vocals in metal, when I'm listening, it's either mixed in with harsh vocals, or it's not like that, like the punkier kind of faster kind of stuff.
Yeah,
because
I think that's kind of what I like about new metal a lot of the time is I feel like a lot of time new metal, at least with Static X. They're we're just going to talk about Static X a bunch. Like they'll scream their vocals, but like I can understand. And then every once in a while they'll go into some like deep growl that I can't really understand. But like I'm just vibing with it, like you're saying. But
usually if it's Wayne, it's more like a grit. I think that he has on his voice, and then usually the deeper growl stuff that was Tony, the bass player, I believe, doing that stuff. Right. But yeah, there's quite a few bands like that.
I'm trying to recall if I ever sent you Propaganda. Propaganda is I did check if they would count as metal, and officially they are melodic hardcore punk.
Okay.
So it's not technically metal, but we don't give a fuck, so we're gonna give it.
Yeah, that sounds like
they're really good. They're probably my favorite.
Hardcore punk is another man's metal.
Yeah, pretty much. And they are most likely my favorite punk band at all. At all times, probably even.
Yeah, I'll check out Propaganda.
I never did send you anything.
I don't know. I don't recall. We've been talking.
Oh, shame on me. I will amend that mistake. I'm sorry.
How about you, Jason? What's your metal or music leanings?
I listen to I mean, I probably listen to new metal more than like metal.
Mhm.
I like Incubus a lot.
Okay.
Or I did. I haven't listened to it recently, but that was like I can like turn Incubus on and take a walk. Sometimes
Mhm.
it'll show me out. But also Clowncore. I don't know if that counts as metal.
Yes.
But it's like it's these guys that dress up like clowns and then it's not like juggalos, but they look like weird freaky clowns, and it's just very, it's like there's like
Technical, aggressive
saxophone in it.
shit.
It's just very,
Okay.
it's weird.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's almost like comedian
No,
value,
it's I
It
don't
doesn't really have
yeah.
vocals. It's just,
Okay.
I mean, I guess it does. There's like
Yes.
guttural sounds of
Okay.
some sorts.
What's the
3G.
isn't there like a death metal Ned Flanders tribute band of
Yeah.
some
There
Okay,
is,
totally.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That reminds me of
Yeah.
that, I think.
There's
Yeah.
that.
Those
there's,
are normal compared to Clowncore.
Oh, are they?
Okay.
Clowncore is two guys going absolutely batshit insane with technical speed and competence.
See,
I'll
like
have to check that
Absolutely
out.
insane.
Luca knows. Luca knows all these.
Oh, yeah, Van is probably one of my favorite albums of all times.
Okay.
It's just so good. Technically, musically, it's just punches you in the right point.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
There's this part where there's like a break for like a second, and then he just does this crazy like saxophone solo. I think is what he's playing. It's ridiculous.
Yes, it is a saxophone.
I
You probably
am
think
all
about
for, like,
Computer.
yeah.
That's the song.
Yeah.
I'm going to just check this out because I'm all for like just different instrumentation in metal because like you can make it all work. Metal can take everything.
Yes.
You know, like one of the, granted, much more metal than what Conquer sounds, but like there's a band called Bloodywood out now, and they incorporate a lot of like Indian like instrumentation in their stuff. I'm not going to try to name the instruments because I'm going to either get them wrong or say them wrong, but it is like just really great stuff. But it's also kind of new metal-y because it's kind of rappy.
They're very new metal.
A lot of groove. Bloodywood.
Bloodywood.
Check out. I would say check out the song New Delhi, and if that's your jam, if you like that, then you're gonna like them. You know.
I've got tabs on tabs open right now so that I remember.
Oh, I'm gonna be filling you with this.
Yes. They have this really good.
With Bloodywood.
They have this really good song called
fan.
Tadka, I believe it's called. And it's essentially about just talking about how good their aunt's cooking is and celebrating it. But it's hilarious because if you see the video, literally, I think it's literally their aunt like in the kitchen or whatever. And it's like the sweetest thing, but also like this big crushing metal song in a lot of spots. But yeah, they're awesome.
They have so many jokingly kind of joking, funny songs, but they have some very serious topics too. So that's some of the songs I have attached the most.
The first song of theirs I ever liked was I ever heard and liked was Dana Dan, and I think it literally starts with talking about beating the shit out of a rapist. So
yes,
you know, it's like, you know, but yeah, it's really cool. Like they have like I think the drums, whenever they have like the Indian style drums and stuff like that, it just adds so much to it. Because you know, like Sepultura did back in the 90s and all that, you know, adding the Brazilian influences and stuff. Like, you know, it just changes it, and it like gives it such a groove. But like, since you are like in that new metal, you know, flavor, that's definitely something I would suggest checking out because the only other band I've really been listening to like nonstop lately is this newer band, but they're like one of my top 5 favorite bands already, called Orbit Culture, and they're getting ready to release their first like major label album in October. With Century Media Records. They were with another record company for their first few records, and I've been a fan of theirs since their first LP came out. I simultaneously found it, fell in love with it, and then one of my favorite metal podcasts covered it. Like the next week. Shout out Thrash It Out podcast, hosted by Anthony Johnson and Brian Latendrive. Really great podcast for any metal fans or non-metal fans. It's just two music lovers talking about everything from like super hardcore like death metal to like goth metal to, you know, Winger to like to Rat to whatever, you know. They each pick an album and then they kind of discuss it and all that. But yeah, that's a band that I'm like just like kind of is my personality at the moment as it goes. But you know, you might like. Do you think Dylan H would like a Electric Callboy? I mean, that's very pop, kind of like.
Dude, we're mentioning all my favorites. I was
Yeah.
ready to talk about these two guys especially.
Electric Cowboy?
Electric Callboy. They are the
Callboy.
hippiest, funniest band lately. Getting big.
They what was it? They and you know what? What song would you think would be like the best intro song to Electric Callboy? I think it would just be "We Got the Moves." Like if you're not with down,
We
with
Got the Moves. Yes, has to
You
be
know.
We Got the Moves.
I think I might have heard Ratatata.
Oh, Baby Metal?
the
literally,
yeah.
I was literally blasting in my
Baby
ears on my
Metal.
bike ride home from the gym this morning. Like that's just.
Yeah, I might have heard that one.
And funnily enough, Baby Metal had a collab. Actually, two
With
collaborations
Bloodywood,
with
yeah,
Bloodywood
Yeah.
just recently. So they're
Yeah.
just closing
And-
the circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check all these out.
Nice.
You guys look hilarious.
You're taking notes, I hope.
Oh,
I will be
yeah.
testing you.
Very much
This
so.
will be in the test.
There will be links sent out after this recording.
Yeah.
I actually saw them. They uploaded. What was it? 2 years ago or 1 year ago? They uploaded the live concert they did in all Germany.
Mm.
They are so much fun on stage. It's
Yeah.
just such a presence. So good.
What was it? I one of the YouTube channels I follow is called Tank the Tech, and he's like their tour manager now.
Hmm.
So there's always like little like snippets of them and stuff like that coming from hearing about that. And yeah, I first heard them with, I think it was We Got the Moves, because then they had the name change.
Yes, I think they changed the name after.
It was after We Got the Moves, I think, blew up a bit.
Yeah, it was around there.
Or was it oh god, what was the first song they did that got real big because everyone like was like doing remixes?
Oh, I know what you mean. Wait.
Oh,
Wait.
Why am I forgetting it?
Oh, my brain. I'm freezing.
See, it's just gonna be us googling Electric Callboy stuff. It was
I need.
Hypa,
Not
Hypa.
Pump It. Hypa.
Yes.
Because they were still Eskimo Callboy back then.
Yes.
Then they got
then
not
you know them being
famous
you know,
enough to find out what Eskimo means and
I think they did.
corrected
I think they did it in the right, because even like living in
Yep.
America, like I didn't realize like that was really considered like a big no word to be using. So they actually like posted videos of them, like someone talking about the history of the word and why it's terrible. And then, so it's like, you know, I think that's not that I think people were really gonna go after them about it, but like it was cool of them to like say like, hey, this is not right. You know, let's change it. And Electric Callboy fits so much better anyway.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
It
was quite a brave choice to make. They just made it big. They just hit their first probably major hit.
Yeah.
And to change your branding at that point,
but
that's not an easy call.
I think they pulled it through. They pulled it out.
They did.
Funnily enough, Go ahead.
There's a band. This is a sort of just a related tangent, but there's a band, Gogol Bordello. Familiar? So Gogol Bordello, I think for the longest time that they and everyone else described them as like gypsy punk.
Mm-hmm.
And then the word gypsy was sort of came into view that it's not a favorable term and that we should stop using it. And I think they've also started to sort of distance themselves from the term gypsy. Just a similar anecdote. Right?
Yeah, here in Europe in particular, there is a strong negative connotation with that term.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it has reached the US. Because
It
the
has
Roma
a bit.
people are mostly in Europe.
Yeah. Like I know now, like that. You know, I've known for years. Like that word is, most people prefer Romani or, but there's also like I think there's literally like a TV show called like Gypsy Weddings or something not that long ago.
Yeah.
On TV here. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, as a whole, it's probably something to like not. It's something to like not say, just don't do. But there's still like, you know, facets of people who, you know, don't care or whatever, you know, so,
Or even
but
just don't know, because like
yeah,
in
yeah,
Eskimo, I had no idea until Eskimo Callboy came
yeah,
out with all the
yeah,
history. It was literally a learning moment for me.
yeah. And, I, funny enough, I learned like the whole thing happened. And I learned like from there, like how like, oh, it's not. At the same time, my kids were watching this show on PBS called Molly of Denali
Oh, I
about an
don't know
Inuit
that.
girl who, and then like that's how like they actually addressed that like in an episode. Like, no, this
Oh,
is actually not a good word to use for us, and this is. So
okay.
it's like at the same time I'm like, oh, you know, I'm watching PBS Kids learning something.
Always
You
a
know,
good time.
thankfully, you know, and you know, it goes, you never want someone to feel, you know, disrespected or anything like that. So it's like whenever there's pushback on that kind of thing, like, oh, why you got, you know, is it really that bad? It's like, just why is it worth, like,
Costs
if people say
nothing.
it just hurts them,
Yeah,
then
but
why
guess
keep it?
what?
Like,
You
let
don't
them
get to
go.
decide how offensive it is.
Yeah, yeah, just drop it. It's your life does not change.
Yeah.
You know,
Literally not at all.
if you know, it doesn't cost anything to not be an asshole to somebody, you know. So anyway,
Well,
enough talk
especially
about this
when
kind of
there's
stuff. Go
yeah,
ahead, Lemmy.
especially when there is a serious historical background on
Yeah,
the verbiage you
yeah,
use,
yeah. It's like, oh, I never heard
vocabulary,
about
not
this. I'm
verbiage.
like, well, we do live in America, and there's a lot of things you haven't heard about until until people are actually, oh, wait, no, that actually happened. You know?
I have been told education is not that best at the moment over there. Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of amazing teachers, just not a lot of amazing support for them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's usually the way it
and we're
goes.
gonna get we've already started, you know, going into a free fall with being bummer here. So
Yeah,
Fuck me, you're right.
oh crap! Recover.
Jason, you know what, Jason, I did see Incubus in concert many years ago.
Oh, cool.
Back when they did Lollapalooza, when it was like, I think when the last touring version of Lollapalooza, like in
That must have been a while.
2003,
That's
maybe.
cool.
And I have no problem with Incubus, but like, but at that show, like I was definitely like over them because I think I was like at the peak of they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And like there's one, and we were mainly there like it was a really sad festival because like the tickets were $10
Oh,
for Lollapalooza, like, and it was the grass seat, you know, the general admission seating or whatever. But like when we got there, they were selling like tickets, like upgrades for another $10. So for like $20, I was literally like 30 feet from the stage, something like that.
wow.
And I'm like, I could practically, you know, and we were there to see Audio Slave because, you know,
Oh, yeah.
which I'm glad we saw. But yeah, so Incubus was on. We were like, I think at that point, my fiance, now my wife, was like, is this the same song? Because she had no idea what it was. And I'm like,
That's valid.
you never want to hear that with a band.
Oh,
But
can I hurt you deeply?
yeah, not Audio
May
Slave,
I?
with Incubus, because she loves Audio
No,
Slave.
no,
That's
with
why.
Incubus. One of
Yeah.
my, well, that's been a long time, it's almost 20 years. One of my exes, I made her a CD that dates me a lot with Motorhead songs, and she
Mhm.
said, I am not sure when one ends and the other starts. I get them confused. Didn't last long.
I adore Motorhead. I love Lemmy. You know, I'm with Airheads, the movie. You know,
Yes, Lemmy is God.
but I get it.
I do.
I get it. I understand. That feeling. Because you know, if they have a big enough discography that a few years ago I did try to like go through every album, and I'm like, there were a few songs where I'm like, wasn't this on the other album? Like, no, it wasn't. It's fine. But, you know, over the span of the career, there's just like tons of just amazing songs from there. You know.
Well, there has been a couple funny incidents where Lemmy would be singing the wrong song, playing the right notes. So I guess it was a fair complaint from her.
But you know, and you can't knock Lemmy as a songwriter though, because some of Ozzy's biggest hits, may he rest in peace, were written by Lemmy. So it's like it wasn't necessarily Lemmy's ability as a songwriter; it's just what he wanted to do, which is cool.
Yeah.
But no, I have actually gone back to Incubus a little bit because I had a kind of like a during the spring I had kind of like a 2000s like resurgence of just like going through all these bands I was listening to back then, and I'm like, Incubus had some bangers, man. Like they had like some of the uh I forget the name of the song. Something about like, she's like in outer space or something. But like the guitar tone and the way like it's just kind of like really twisty with it. I'm like, that's really nice. That's really neat. And like just the little touches like with drives, like the sound of the record vinyl going. I'm like, you know what? I feel bad for like, kind of like dissing these guys in my own brain because there's a lot of really great stuff in here,
I'm sorry what I said to myself about you.
Yeah, I'm sorry what I said to myself about you, Incubus. You guys are all right.
Yeah. I don't care what I say about you. You guys are cool.
Yeah. Well, Jason,
We were younger.
Yeah, we were younger, and I felt like you had something to prove. But Jason, what would you say was like the heaviest stuff you would listen to?
Just
harder than clowncore.
I mean, clowncore is pretty.
That aside, because that seems like it's a special asterisk.
Yes,
based on what you're telling me.
I guess
you send me some punk stuff that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there was a band that my one friend who was actually in like a screamo band turned me on to, and I think they're called PM Today. I think they only had like one album, but it was like the members are like in another like synthy band now, I think. But that was there was like a lot of like I think the album's called like In Medias Res, and it's like there's just like a lot of aggressive guitar solos and screaming and stuff like that, but it's more screamo than metal. So
I mean, it all kind of falls under, I kind of used to go by this rule, like if it came out like in the mid 80s, would people think it's metal? Then it's metal. Yeah. And it could be metal. Like there's like, there's like some 41 songs that if it came out in like 1984, people would think it's like one of the greatest metal songs ever, like it's it is, it's all relative.
I feel like I mean, there's definitely, I don't have any problem with harder stuff. I just don't remember a lot of the time, like which band is the one I'm listening to.
No, it took me a while to get into like harsh vocals and stuff. I was very much a non-harsh, like Static X was like the harshest I would go to. Even then, it's just like gritty, in key kind of screaming.
You know what feels kind of like a gateway harsh vocal band is Hot Mulligan.
Hot Mulligan.
Yeah, you guys. So Hot Mulligan is they're kind of like all of their vocals are screams. That's all they do.
Okay.
But the music behind it is like dad rock. It's like really really simple beats and like, but like it works. It's really good. And so like I used to not want to listen to screamo music, and then I started listening to Hot Mulligan, and I was like, I think I can get behind this. And then I just started listening to more and more, and it's kind of so I think if I keep listening to Hot Mulligan, eventually I'm going to be able to listen to clowncore.
I mean, I think the band that probably was my gateway into it was Linkin Park, because that was like when I was like 12 or 13.
I
young motherfucker.
Yeah. I graduated high school in 2000. So like Linkin Park was like just after when like my teenage like tastes were like, solidified. So it's like, okay, they're okay, I guess, or whatever. Right. But then like, as the years went on and stuff like that, like I've definitely, have shed that dumb teenager, like it's metal or nothing situation.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And it's just like, so yeah, I just like looking back at Linkin Park, like, yeah, those guys, like, especially Chester, like just insane, just insane. And yeah, it's nuts. My biggest, I think I had two pretty big gateways into like getting used to like harsher vocals. One was, not counting Static X. One was I got really into Nightwish in the early 2010s, and not that they're harsh vocals, but Marco, the bass player, he definitely had that grittier. He's a good singer actually, but like he had that grittier, like kind of harsher kind of tone to his voice. And then also James LeBrie, the singer from Dream Theater, had a couple solo albums, and he actually had someone doing harsh vocals like in comparison with him. So you would have him singing, and then you'd have like someone doing like harsher vocals aside from it. So it's kind of like that. What do they call it? This where you're like trickled in to get used to something.
Oh, like acclimated?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like-
Acclimated.
I
don't know how you guys pronounce
microdosing.
it.
I was microdosing harsh vocals.
Oh,
Until ultimately, I started getting into some because then a lot of like I got really into like symphonic metal, and a lot of that stuff would have like a female singer and then like a harsh male singer. There's a band called why am I spacing on her name? I listen to them so much. Amaranth. That
I think I've listened to them.
They have 3 vocalists. They have a female vocalist, they have a clean vocalist, they have a male clean vocalist, and then they have a harsh male vocalist. And the 2 male vocals have been kind of a rotating seat of dudes, but they are definitely another like kind of gateway band, and they're also very like poppy and catchy and bouncy. So, but they're not really jokey. It's so much. I don't know so much now because their former harsh vocalist, for the albums he was on, they would always give him like one song for him to do like his scream rapping on, and it would always it'd be a little like tongue in cheeky, I think, but it was also really good, because but if you like Electric Callboy too, like that they have that really bouncy, they have like a lot of synth kind of dancey kind of stuff
dance
to it. And and a lot of the metal riffs and stuff are just the standard like bouncy groovy metal riffs, but hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah,
it's a big party.
Yeah, it is. So well, Luca, I'm sorry I took the bands you wanted to talk about, but I'm sure there's no shortage of metal
there
bands
is actually no shortage
about.
Yes, because I was wise and I thought about it beforehand. No, I was seriously thinking about it beforehand because I realized, oh yeah, Bloodywood has been doing some really big collabs lately, and that hypes me up because I've been following them by years now. Well, that's quite a few years, yeah. So what else have I been listening to? What else is coming up soon? And I realized Avatar is putting out some songs recently.
Okay, yeah, I like
and,
Avatar.
I'm pretty hyped about it. Those are another band that is exceptionally good in as stage presence.
Yeah.
So I adore the way they perform live.
And they definitely don't dress like regular dudes.
No, they do not.
It's almost like a carnival.
And I that's one thing I love about them too.
Yeah.
And they quite consistently evolving their sound, which is something I appreciate actually.
Yeah, for real, because I really fell in love with their stuff around Vultures Fly.
Oh yeah, okay.
That kind of era, and they've changed directions here and there. They still have there's still plenty of super heavy stuff, but there's also like more like melodic stuff happening and all that. And I always even if it's something I'm not digging on myself personally, I can't knock a band for just trying something different. And doing something different. My favorite band of all time is Metallica. I can't talk shit about anybody changing direction or changing style.
I was thinking about them. Literally.
Like I what am I gonna say? Like, and then say my favorite band's Metallica.
They think it was a bad album.
But I still kind of like a lot of it. I still kind of like a lot of it.
That's the point. It was there was some really good stuff.
It just,
Death Magnetic had some good stuff as well.
Yeah. Both hard to listen to for different reasons, sonically. But even I was given their latest one, 72 Seasons, a spin the other day when I was in the yard.
I actually haven't heard it yet. How is it?
I mean, I think between Death Magnetic, Hardwired, and 72 Seasons, Hardwired's probably my favorite out of the 3 most recent ones. But it's like 72 Seasons definitely has like some good ones. The Lux Eterna song, the first single they had, like that's just like old school
That's
Metallica.
literally the only
There's some
song
good
I've
stuff
heard
in
so
there.
far.
Sonically, it's one of the best albums because you can hear
Okay.
Rob's bass nice in
Nice.
there, and James's guitars always sound awesome and all that. Kirk's solos, I wish he wrote solos still, and as opposed to just improvising everything. But I'm not going to tell someone how to do their job, I guess. But aside from that, yeah, they're my all-time favorite band. Like I just,
There's
even
bias.
if I don't listen to them that much because I've listened to them so much in my life, But yeah, I think they're sailing into their late era well.
Well, I mean, they had one of the longest careers I could imagine in heavy metal.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so far at least.
So we'll look at what would you say is like the lightest and like the heaviest stuff you listen to with metal?
Oh, I in metal,
Yeah.
exclusively metal, because
It
I
doesn't,
space a lot.
Yeah, because I'm like I was, I mentioned I was listening to 72 Seasons and then Orbit Culture, but then I was also jamming the latest Paramore, and I haven't checked out the Hayley Williams album she dropped, but I'm looking forward to checking that out too. So I'm all over the place myself too. I'm very much a
I'm having a hard time thinking what is the lightest stuff if I confine myself into metal. Because hardest is probably, Slaughter to Prevail,
okay,
probably, or more on the grind.
Do you do much
How's
like
it called?
deathcore, or like black metal type stuff at all, or?
Yeah, black metal is one of those genres I really have only a couple bands I really enjoy. Like, Polish friends, please forgive me, Mgła or Mgła, I don't know how it's pronounced. It's fog translated in Polish, if I am correct.
Okay.
And ironically, Zeal and Ardor,
okay, yeah, that
are exceptional, and they are probably one of the lightest things if you think about it, because they have some really bluesy, kind of soft songs in most of their work.
Yeah, Dylan, Jason, like Zeal and Ardor, and I even stretch to say Loathe. I think are kind of bands where it's like they're not like all heavy fast. They have like just like this. They definitely have like this. Are either of you like fans of like Deftones or like any Deftones type stuff? They definitely take a lot of cues from that kind of like that spaciness, big, kind of like foreboding, emotional sound. And Loathe is definitely one of the bands. Like I like Zeal and Ardor a lot. I think massive respect to them. I vibe with Loathe more.
How do you spell that?
Zeal and Ardor, ZEAL ampersand ARDOR. And then Loathe is just like
so many tabs open. I'm gonna listen to so much music tomorrow.
And you can respond like no, you guys whiffed it and all. I hate all.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm gonna try and listen.
You've made
to
my day actively
I'm gonna
worse.
try and listen to a bunch of. I'm trying to listen to all of them on my way into the city tomorrow, and then I'm gonna arrive with like a really confused mood.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking, we mentioned saxophones before, and I was thinking about it's not Raised by Owls. Those are the Aussie guys. It's Howl something. There is another band that has Where Owls Know My Name. Who's the author?
If I misremember, I don't know if I misremember.
Rivers of Nihil.
Okay.
Rivers of Nihil.
Oh, okay.
Which
okay.
are
Yeah.
very. How would you describe the sound? Broad, some way. Just there's my vocabulary is failing me. I'm so frustrated.
It's very it's almost like the word that just comes to my brain is like it's like a landscape. I don't know.
Yes.
Like it's like when you look at like a very like
it's very
dramatic.
emotional, and
Yeah.
it's mostly about big vibes with big sounds, I would say.
Yes. There you go.
And vocals are mostly harsh, so you may not be straight into it the first time listening. But there is some really, really good stuff in Where Else Know My Name is probably my favorite album of theirs.
I
It's
think
really
with
good.
also with harsh vocals, a lot has to do with like the mixing of the song, because a lot of the times, if it's like really mixed in well with the rest of the instrumentation, like it does this kind of wash over you, and it just becomes part of the song,
Yeah.
as opposed to like this, huge like dichotomy between like these, heavy musical or melodic riffs your brains gets, and then like indecipherable sounds from a human happening, because there's a genre called blackened heavy metal, which I actually like, but is very much like traditional like heavy metal sounds, kind of like if you would think like early Priest, even like later, Black Sabbath, just like mid tempo, but like metalish, but like the vocals are like black metal vocals, where it's that real like kind of stuff, and it's just like it sounds ridiculous at first, but then you kind of like you get into it. There's a band called Nite, Nite, that I highly recommend if you're willing to check that kind of stuff out. That kind of just like, but again, it's all about vibes. Like I listen to so much different music based on the vibe I'm in, what I'm doing, the time of the year, whatever it is. Like, I've mentioned this before, like if I'm in the backyard, I'm grilling, like I usually got some sort of like doom or like stoner metal on. I got Orange Goblin or The Sword or Sabbath or something on. For me, that's just the vibe fits. If I'm taking when I was taking walks to go pick up my kids from school, like that's when I got into like my 90s and 2000s phase again, where I'm like, I'm just gonna pop on some stuff that from there, and I've started like riding my bike to the gym as opposed to driving, and I've been like getting back into like more 80s metal and thrash stuff and all that, because it reminded me back when I was a teenager, and I rode my bike everywhere, just making my mixtapes of different Metallica albums.
Actually, I think you guys have a different perspective from what I have, because to me, understanding the lyrics, it's a secondary step, because it's not my main language. I have to actually focus and want to understand what the heck they are saying. So I don't mind it that much if I don't understand what they're saying.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely
vibe along.
I can't tell you the lyrics to half of the songs I've listened to 50 million times. Like
But the point is you assume you should be understanding, which I think is probably Dylan's problem, because he thinks I am supposed to know what the fuck you're saying, bitch.
Yeah,
it's the writer problem. Like I need to know the story they're trying to tell me.
Yes,
and completely understandable.
My mom's like that. If my mom can't understand lyrics, she gets very frustrated.
Oh, Piper mom in our hearts.
That's why, when I got into Hot Mulligan too, like I've listened to some Hot Mulligan songs hundreds of times at this point, and like I might not know a single word of it, but I'm okay with it. I can feel what they're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll think I know what a lyric is, and I'll have thought that it's one thing for like 10 years, and then I'll go back to the song and I'll be like, wait a minute, is that what
That's not it?
That's not it. That's wrong. And then
Well, that's me with every song, so you're good.
That's why I just don't try. if I hear what the lyrics are, cool. If I don't, whatever. No, but yeah,
I think it was Amon Amarth at a live concert, probably Wacken or something like that, during the intro for I don't recall which song was it, but he said something like sing along if you know this, if you know the lyrics, and if you don't, do it anyway. It's heavy metal.
And a few other gentlemen aren't familiar with Amon Amarth. Basically, if you say the term Viking metal, whatever comes to mind, that big Viking
Those are
on stage.
Actually,
I think instead of like crowd mosh pits, they make everybody row.
Yes.
Like row.
The fan activities on the pit it's It's some of the best things you see on the live concerts.
Yeah, but yeah,
People are wild.
they're really good. They're really good. And you know what? I just thought of a clean vocal metal band, but not super fast, but like
You pull up
in
my
terms of
list.
storytelling and all that. Dylan, you might like them if you like history. Sabaton.
Ooh, good call.
They're
Sabaton?
essentially they are like the grandpa who loves watching World War II documentaries, but like a power metal band.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that look.
And the winged hussars arrived.
The pictures that come up seem to fit exactly what you just said.
We saw them. We saw them live in a 1,000 capacity club in Chicago, opening for Nightwish, and they played like they were playing to 50,000 people at Wacken. Like it was crazy. Like they were. Like I wasn't like I listened to them because I wasn't unaware of them, but I saw they're going to be supporting Nightwish, so I'm like, okay, let me check them out. I'm like, it's okay. But when I saw them, they sold me so much because like, oh, these guys are just having fun. Like it's not this uber serious, like, take yourself too seriously type of situation. Even though they're singing about history and they're very earnest and all that about it all. But like you see them, like the good dude's got like the short, Mr. T mohawk and style mohawk and like the metal
He's
vest,
a
like a professional wrestler or something like that.
Yeah, he looks like a mix of Mr. T and Chuck Liddell.
There you go. Perfect. So yeah, I think in terms of storytelling, I think you would like them because all their songs are just stories. It's about D-Day or about Princes of Kings of Norway. I think it was Careless Rye. I think Careless Rex.
Yes.
I think is what we would call it. But like, they're great. They're great. I think we've dragged down Jason and Dylan enough with metal talk for now.
I could go on.
This is why I came here.
I was actually gonna start talking about comedy in metal. If we
comedy.
Stop,
okay.
I guess.
No, please. You are the guest. This is
No. I'm joking.
Okay.
There is a point I was curious to ask you about. There are fans of the genre who are kinda on the fence about comedic metal. We have one of my favorite bands there in Italy, which is Nanowar of Steel, which is expressly a comedic band, which they have songs about IKEA, Imodium, and whatever not. Norwegian reggaetons. They're just chef kiss quality. Do you have an opinion about it? How you feel about it?
My feeling is that metal is not a genre. It's a medium.
Oh.
Just like comics are a medium.
Okay.
And just because I feel like whatever you try to mix with metal becomes that metal. You mix pop with metal, it's not a pop song with metal. It's a pop metal song. It can, like I said, metal can take all this stuff. So that's what I love about it so much, is that I can have uber serious, dark, just, I'm in my sad boy phase, angry stuff. And then I can put on something like Nanowar Steel, or I can put on something like, Max Sabbath, which is a Black Sabbath cover band, but they're dressed like all the McDonald's characters. And they sing about burgers and fries, and they change the lyrics and all that. Or Oakley Dokley, the Ned Flanders. Or
Travel meat.
Yeah. Or stuff like that, even going to like, even though, metal fans have adopted them, like Tenacious D,
right.
You can't tell me Wonder Boy wouldn't like in another world be a Dio song. You can't tell me that metal isn't like one of the best metal riffs of the past
metal is
20
so
years.
good. I listened to that on my CD until that part of the CD burned. I love that song.
That sounds like a proper amount of listening.
Yeah. And the best part about that song was like my wife and I, we saw Tenacious D in concert before we saw the movie. So we were seeing like the story of the movie played out in concert before we saw the movie, which, I have opinions on the movie, but I'm just happy they got to do it, for themselves at least. Yeah. But the album is immaculate. Like it's just, So yeah, I'm all for whatever wants to go into metal. Like even if I don't like it, I'm like, so what? I don't like every comic. It's fine.
Cool.
You
Yeah.
know, that this is how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for like having some comedy in it. And also like I grew up in the era where like we were just really getting a lot of like backstage like footage and looks at bands and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
they're all just a bunch of fucking dorks like us.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, they are.
I literally like uh ruined the VHS of the Metallica year and a half life of documentary,
Mhm.
all the behind the musics, uh and all that kind of stuff, and all like the backstage footage stuff. Like, yeah, so I'm like, everyone who takes it too seriously to me is also, it's the same thing with comics. Like, I
Yeah.
understand like how important it is for us and how much we love it and how passionate we are all about it. But you can also like have fun. Like it's okay to have
Yeah.
fun with it sometimes, It doesn't have to be, life or death with every situation, And, for some people it is, and that's fine, but like, it shouldn't be the rule for everybody and everything. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel as long as you are musically competent,
yeah.
as long as your playing is good,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I am up to buy anything you're selling me. Just
Yeah.
show me what you got.
Yeah, that's I say it often. Like I just enjoy listening and watching and hearing, people who are passionate about what they do. And if you're passionate about making absolutely fucking goofy ass metal songs or whatever, like, but you're so passionate about it and you get really and it's done well, cool. I think one of my favorite quotes about reviewing anything was from Roger Ebert, and when he was reviewing Justin Bieber concert documentary of all things, and it's like, it's not like he doesn't rate a movie. I'm gonna paraphrase it poorly, but like basically, the quality of a movie isn't what it's about, it's how it is about it. Like, how well was this put together? How well was this made?
Yeah.
And because he like had like a 3.5-star review of it, and he's basically like, he's like, he doesn't care about the kid's music, he doesn't care about any of that, but it was a well done, well made documentary. So he rated it
The
as such.
craftsmanship is up there.
Yeah, exactly. And and there's also the flip side of like, there's something to say with something being incredibly raw, but again, then that just like, that's when the passion carries through on that, because there's
Right.
plenty of like, I'm, just touch on black metal real quick. Like, I like some black metal. It's kind of hard because I don't like playing, Google, are they Nazis, with bands,
Yes, that's
so, but there's lots of great stuff, and some of the best black metal people think of all time sounds like it was recorded in a metal trash can with,
Yeah.
2 tape
Urzu.
recorders and like the world's worst guitar amp and all the reverb in the world. But it's just, that's what they wanted to do. That was their intent. And they made it the way they wanted it. And then there's some incredibly pristinely produced black metal that's really great and sounds really good, and you can be just enjoyed just as much, just like with comics. I've loved tiny little Xerox zine comics just as much as I've loved, the most, pristine paper hardcover book I've ever held in my, so it's I love all of it as long as,
As
as
long
long
as
as,
it's well told.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, there's comics that like I've been handed like at a small con in Cincinnati, like walking down the aisle, and then someone who doesn't have a table because they're not established yet, but they've
Mhm.
got their comic and they're handing it out to people because they're trying to just get eyes on their book. And then reading, I was like, this is like the fact that you can tell how much they care about what they're doing and how passionate they are, like that
Yeah.
goes a long way into
Yeah.
actually enjoying the book. And so I agree. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily about. I mean, the craftsmanship is always going to elevate whatever it is you're doing, but it's not necessarily always about the craftsmanship. It's a lot about how passionate are you about this, and what are you trying to put into it? That is
People
also,
can always get technically better.
sure, yeah.
But it's like there's something to say with just like what's behind that, what's the drive, what's the story they're telling, and all that. So like, yeah, 100%. Like there's like this little mini comic we got a long time ago called Turdy Needs Work. It's about a little turtle. It's like these little 1-page gags or two 1-page little 2-page
cute.
about a turtle trying to find work, but he's a turtle. He can't do anything. So it's always like oh no, like almost like a, it's definitely like, a gag book or whatever. But my wife and I still crack up about it, like, well over a decade later. Yeah. And it's still something that just brings joy, and it's not, uberly detailed drawn or whatever. It's just this little thing that we just got at the comic shop randomly that they said, hey, we think you guys would this was funny. Yeah. And sure enough,
did you guys ever read a book called Axe Cop?
Yes.
Axe Cop. Oh yeah,
yes, written by the 5-year-old brother of the artist. Yeah,
I have not read it, but I know about it.
Yeah. So the 5-year-old writes the story, and then like his older brother draws it, and like with like technical precision or whatever. But like that's that kid doesn't know how to write a story, but like it's amazing. It's so good.
And
it's whimsy. It's pure whimsy.
It's the hook of like, this is a kid writing it, so you're expecting insanity, so you're on board. You're like, all right, what's he
having
got?
fun, and that's and you can tell that the kid's having fun, and that's part of what makes it work so well. It's like the kid clearly had the time of his life writing this ridiculous story, and that's half the enjoyment for me when I read it.
Did you have fun writing our story, Dillon?
Not as much as Axe Cop.
To touch on the other two topics, just real quick, we spent a big chunk on Muddle, which I'm fine with. You guys seem fine with, but I am curious about everyone's coffee or drinking habits. Are you all coffee drinkers, or do we have some division amongst you?
I am not.
Okay.
I mean, I have had coffee, but I don't. I know that shocked Dillon when we tabled together last year in Baltimore. We went downstairs and I was like, I don't drink coffee.
Like, how do you work in comics and not drink coffee?
It is very unusual for people to work in comics and not drink coffee, I feel. I do like tea. I've been doing. I sometimes will do I'll do like a mint tea, but I'll put like cocoa powder in it, so I'll get like a chocolate mint kind of tea.
Okay.
We have to reconsider our friendship, my friend.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I think it sounds great. It sounds like a hot thin mint.
Not like a ton of it, just like a little bit of it.
Okay.
Stir it in.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
I'm always in support of food experimentation, Jason. It's like the weed is like try it.
Look, I am open to musical experimentation, but not the food experimentation.
Yeah, that's very Italian of you.
Yes, I have some standards I have to uphold because of my origins.
Well, how about you, Luca? What's your go-to for caffeine?
I am more likely to be offering coffee than be drinking some. I actually have a ton of coffee because I offered my friends when they come here to play role-playing games and whatever not. I had one. I have actually one now because it's sleepy time. But
it's
I
morning.
do mostly. It's gonna be dawn soon.
I've been up since 4:00 this morning over here. So it's my life. It's fine. My own, it's my own decision. Don't worry about me.
We are all at fault for our own decisions. I get it. Yes. I do kind of enjoy mostly the fruity stuff, like lemon juice, orange juice, and whatever not. That's mostly my gig. But 90% of the time is just plain water. I'm a boring guy.
Well, like I said, I've talked to people about all kinds of beverages and what they enjoy and all that. Not everyone's a huge coffee drinker. Even in the realm of coffee drinkers, like I take mine with cream and sugar, and for some people that's I might be a heathen for that. It's
heresy.
Yeah, exactly. So, how about you, Dillon? Could you refresh us on?
I'm just a drip coffee guy. But like I became some years ago. We might have talked about this last time, but I some years ago I became an accidental burgeoning coffee snob. Where I just buy a can of Folgers and throw it in the coffee pot and just cook that up. I'd burn the crap out of it. And then my friend was like, "You got to grind your own beans," and I was like, "No, I
No.
don't." And he's like, "Just try it. I'll get you a really cheap grinder. Just grind your own. I'll even buy you some beans." And so he did it,
Yeah.
and I tried it. And I was like, "I can't taste the difference. This tastes the same to me." And then I finished that bag of beans, and then I went back to Folgers, and I was like, "This is garbage. I don't know what happened." And then like I started, and then there was this there was a series on YouTube. I think it's like an Epicurious series where experts will try the same item at different price points, and they'll try
Yeah.
and guess which one's the cheap one, which one's the expensive. And there's one on coffee, and this coffee expert, and like they explain why it's good and why it's bad, and so like I learned so much from that, and so like I know to look on my bag of coffee to look for a roast date, not an expiration date.
Yeah.
Because an expiration date's not going to tell you when that was roasted. An expiration date can be relatively arbitrary. It could be months and months and months or a year old. But a roast date, you'll know exactly how old it is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people like the oily coffee. I like the not oily coffee. I like my beans to be really dry. I like them to be really nutty. And then I catch myself talking about coffee like this, and I feel like kind of a d-bag about it. But
I you know, I usually,
Dude,
whenever I have a guest
no.
coming back on, I try to like, I always tell myself like, I'm going to listen back to the old episodes so I don't retread everything. I never end up doing that. So, but I definitely feel like we discussed this before, which is perfectly fine because it's my show. We can do whatever the fuck we want. But like, you know, I was relatively, actually looking back on it, I've been drinking coffee for almost 20 years now, but like I didn't start till like my 20s drinking coffee, and I was very much a tea guy. Black tea, or like, I'd be the guy cracking open a Diet Pepsi on the way to work in the morning. That's my coffee. But I became that person. I'm like, let me try grinding my beans. I hear it's really good to do it this way. And then it's like, oh, I can't go back now. And then it's like, well, I have to switch from the blade grinder to the burr grinder.
yeah,
Because it's less, it doesn't heat up the beans as much. And it's,
Yep.
and then, I just bought the cheapest burr grinder or whatever. And I'm like, I was like, holy shit, this is like night and day difference. So like, I've become one of those,
yeah.
I have we have our, my wife and I, we don't have really any like vices, we don't drink, we don't really do any other kind of stuff. And so like, our main big like fancy like usual purchase is a nice big 5-pound bag of our favorite coffee every couple months, and then supplemented in with like other brands in between the shipments and all that. I really like the Stumptown Hairbender blend. That's recently become, it's from Portland, and it's recently become like available all around in stores all around the US.
Yeah,
and all that.
I've seen it, but I haven't tried it yet.
And I live just north of Chicago, and this area around here is just filthy with small coffee roasters and all that. So there's a lot of great ones in Illinois and all that too. So like it's kind of hard for me to like not be a little bit of a coffee. I don't think I'm a snob, because I don't look down at anybody who just drinks whatever hot black liquid they prefer.
No.
But it's like, but I have a preference.
Yeah,
I have a preference.
We've become more particular, not more judgmental, but a little more discerning for ourselves.
Yeah. Do I have a favorite?
Yeah.
Do I have a favorite half and half? Yes. Do I have a I don't drink. I haven't been drinking as much coffee as I used to be. I used to drink probably like a half a pot a day, but I've cut way back, and that's just because since I've been going to the gym.
A lot of coffee.
Yeah. Well, it was about 3 cups ish. But also getting ADHD, so it doesn't matter. I drink and go right to sleep.
Doesn't affect you as much.
But also like, since I've been taking like this pre-workout thing before I go to the gym in the morning, so that's got like caffeine in it. Nothing crazy, because there's some of these things that have like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine, and I'm like, you want to fucking die? Like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's an heart attack.
But I basically I haven't reduced my caffeine consumption. It's just switched to that, and then I just have usually like a cup, maybe 2 during the day. In the summer, this summer it's been a little bit more, just because we also do iced coffee, cold brew coffee, because we get this little pitcher, and it has a little filter built inside, and you just fill it up. You fill it up with water. You sit it in your fridge, and then the next day you got some awesome coffee.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever had cold brew coffee, but it's a lot less bitter
It's
if the bitterness.
Oh.
And you know, since you know, I've become one of those idiots who's always looking at the protein for everything. Like I just mix it with like my protein shake or whatever, and I have like a little coffee mocha thing here. But you know, that I'm sure my feelings on it will change eventually. But yeah, you know, it's coffee's great, but you know, I get it. I get if people don't like it. It can be, you know, I don't always drink black coffee. I can, but like, you know, my wife gave up putting sugar in coffee many years ago, and she's like, now she's like, if there's any type of sugar in there, she's like, oh, this is too sweet. I'm like,
Yeah.
how?
Wow.
How? Like, how do you even tell? Like, you know,
I have a lot of sugar in my coffee.
yeah, you know, I used to put a ton, but it's much less now. You know, I'm literally using like a fourth of the amount of sugar I used to put in my coffee. I used to have sugar and coffee. But now
I'm actually very curious about how is our Italian coffee compared to your homemade version.
I'm pretty sure the Italian coffee is probably way stronger. I obviously it's not a comparable, like I wouldn't assume it's a comparable culture thing, but you know, I had some Cuban coffee, a Cubano, because there's some Cuban restaurants in Chicago, and I just had some. What was it? There's a Cuban restaurant right by the comic shop I would go to, and they were doing 24-hour comic book day where you'd sit in the coffee
Nice.
the comic shop for 24 hours with a bunch of other idiots, and we'd all try to make a 24-page comic in 24 hours, which was always terrible unless your name's Mike Norton or Ryan Brown. And then like, you know, but so I would just walk over there to grab dinner with my wife, and then I would get one of those Cubano, and that's just like crack. Like you're just like, and it's like the smallest cup, but it's just like, it's thick. That's the thing. Right. It's like you get coffee that's thick, and I'm like, this is. So I kind of like in my head, I kind of imagine like Italian coffee, kind of similar. Like you don't mess around. Like you're not, you know. I always
most of us do it with a mocha, and I don't know if that's common over there at all.
Yeah, mochas are common.
Yeah, mochas are probably like the most like
I thought
common flavor. I would think that's put in with everything.
There's a ton of sugar in them over here.
Yeah, way too much. Yeah. That'll probably be the biggest difference is the amount of sugar we put in everything.
Yeah, that I expected because I have heard of your bread that's basically cake, so I expected that amount of sugar.
There's an Austrian guy who was like, I don't know what the hell this is, but it's not bread.
Yeah. So I was wondering about the coffee because you probably, in a very particular way compared to our cultural habits of the coffee, have developed a sort of ritualistic enjoyment of preparing the coffee for yourself, making the beans and etc. Yeah. We do have some great beans, but they are already packaged, already grinded and whatever not. So our ritual is just setting up the mocha and sharing the coffee with your friends. Yeah, you have all the personal part of beforehand, which is alien to us some way. It's very uncommon here in Italy.
Yeah, it's you know, for me, you know, the ritual of coffee is like, you know, I bring down my grinder, you know, I fill it up, you know, I make the settings, I get the pot ready or whatever. I never, you know, I've wanted to, but I've never got into like the pour over type stuff because I know I would just become absolutely annoying with it. And you know, like it's like I liken it to like, you know, buying records and vinyl. Like I'm just not even gonna try because it's just gonna I'm gonna go too hard, too fast on it, you know. And it's just like I can't have that be my life because that'll become my life. You know, I'll be the record guy. Like, well, let me put on a record. You know, like, you know, do you like my audio system? Like, no, I don't have time for that, man. I don't have the time. I have enough shit going on. I have enough shit going on. I don't need another hobby. So, because you know, the most I'll go into is like I'll do like a French press, but even then, that's just like it's pretty easy. You pour it in the you know, you pour the hot water in the thing with the grounds, and you just let it sit, and you squeeze it down, and you pour it. It's just like because I'm too, you know, it's
okay.
it's I don't really, you know, there's a difference in the taste, but like you could definitely make it a lot stronger that way. But again, it's just I don't think it's super fancy these days because there's again people like these like perfectly temperatured like water and timing and everything. It's like that's just too much. That's just too much for me. I respect the ritual for people who love doing it, but that's just
sounds a bit like going to the extremes of having the ritual of the green tea in Japan or matcha preparation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very ritualistic, very at some point even spiritual, codified and whatever not.
You know, I figure, you know, if the world hasn't burned down when I'm an old man, like maybe that'll be the time. Like I'll have my 1 cup of coffee in the day, but I'll make it like so overly fucking complicated that it's just, you know, I just want to make the one and be done.
40 minutes just for the coffee.
Exactly. All right. Awesome. Well, how about connection? Should probably move on to some comics. Talk real quick.
Talk about those.
So, you know, I know when you're making comics, it's hard to read comics, you know, even for someone, you know, like me, who's also doing a podcast and I get sent comics or I have tons of, you know, PDFs and stuff from Kickstarters that I always try to catch up with and stay on top of, you know, probably a fifth of these books I still have to read. And then the other ones I just want to reread and all that. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to, it's always a difficult question when I'm asking everybody what comics they enjoy. And it's very much a roller coaster of who's actually able to read comics and not, but have there been comics you all have been able to sit down and read and enjoy, or, you know, trying something new here? If not, like what, you know, what's a comic that you kind of like mentally go back to a lot that's kind of inspiring for you?
I actually took a long break from reading comics, like not entirely. Like I would get the occasional trade or, you know, check something out digitally. But when Batman and Robin Year One came out, the one that Mark Waid and Chris Samnee are doing, I was like the first time that I'd gone back into a comic shop just because I was like, I want to check this out, and like I've been buying that every month, and then, I started getting Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Okay.
And that book is crazy. Like every issue that I have read of that so far, I'm just like, this is peak comic books. Like it's just it hits that sweet spot for me. There's like the art is wild. There's I don't know, just the structure of the pages and the way that all of the different elements are creating this cohesion of the medium. It feels kind of akin to like what Spider-Verse was for animation to me.
Okay.
Where it's just like every part of this book, like the lettering and the art and the writing and the color. I think Javier Rodriguez is coloring it also.
I have a stack of the first 5 Absolute Martian Manhunters. They've been sitting on my table for way too long.
Yeah, and I keep telling you that
I still have not read them. And so
they're so good.
As you're talking, I'm going to open these.
We have no shame.
See if
live reaction.
I've heard all the Absolute stuff has just been awesome.
Yeah, I'm a bit behind on Absolute Batman, but I read like the first 4 or 5 of those, and that was pretty good.
I've just seen like images of it, and like it just like looks absolutely insane. And like I definitely have to get off my ass and like start reading some of this. But
yeah,
I've fallen off going to a comic book shop, so like everything I do is pretty much digitally. So I'm like I have to just like snag up a bunch.
Yeah, I have the DC Comics app, and I always forget that I have it, and I need to like actually. Like there's stuff that I've started, but I need to finish reading that like Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow book.
Yeah, this like
isn't that crazy? It's so good.
Like the really quick quick switch, like either between panels or from panel to panel, like the quick switch of art style and like coloring style.
It's amazing.
It feels. I haven't even read it yet. I'm just flipping through it.
I was sorry. I don't want to cut you off.
It feels like it's like an indie book, like a really underground indie book. Is what
Yeah.
I was like, who's the artist? But then I
Wow.
saw
It's Javier Rodriguez.
I'm like, oh
like
yeah,
how
of
it's
course, it's gonna
framed, that's
look
what I'm trying
gorgeous.
to
Yeah,
be.
it's gonna be insanely
I-
gorgeous. Yeah.
When I was reading issue 1, there were moments, there were like 2 or 3 moments where I was reading issue 1 and I like stopped and I was like, oh my, like I just audibly reacted, just like when I'd like turned the page, I was like, oh my God, like this is insane. Like I haven't, I mean, and also like same thing with the Batman and Robin year 1, but for very different reasons. Like
Yeah.
the way that Somni is handling that book. I mean, Mark Waid's writing is obviously good in that too, but the way he's like framing shots, it's been making me reconsider the way that I handle doing, like having backgrounds kind of peek in even when you're doing a close up to just add a sense of space, but not like doing too much with it.
Yeah.
There's just like such a nuance in the way that he's handling everything. I don't know. It's kind of interesting because like my style is like really hyper detailed, and I feel like I've just been gravitating more and more to people who are doing like way simpler stuff. Like a lot of my favorite people are the people that are not doing any detail in their work, or not no detail, but like much more stripped down.
Yeah. I wouldn't know how to describe my art style, but like, you know, I always find it like interesting that like so many artists like tend to like, we love it all, of course, but like it's like, you know, when it's something that like has such economy to what it's doing, it's just like we're like it's just, it's so much more like enthralling for us because it's like, how are you able to convey everything I'm trying to convey, but you're doing it so much less stuff happening
it's like those the what is it, the Japanese brush paintings or whatever, they do it all in like one stroke or whatever. Is that is that Chinese?
And you know, and Somni's been, you know, killing it at such like a master level for so long. Like
it's
one of the last runs I have, you know, a full run of is like their Daredevil, the Wade Somni Daredevil run, and like it's just, I was never a Daredevil guy, but when I saw those two were on it, I'm like, it's gonna be good. Like there's no way it's not gonna be good. You know, they match each other's sensibilities so much, and you know, Somni's storytelling, you know, as much as can be said about like just his you know, just how he draws in general and how much it's like you know, the, how was I say, like just, you know, just the loveliness of his line and all that stuff, but like it is his storytelling that is just what sets him so far above everybody else. It's just like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that, you know. And it's funny, the things, you know, see someone like Chris Samnee and then you compare it to someone like Stuart Immonen.
Oh God, I love Immonen.
Who, like, so you know, they're not the same artist, even though Stuart Immonen, you know, has his simpler style and all that, but like the way he frames shots and the way he tells a story, so different than Chris Samnee, but equally as amazing, equally as engaging and all that. And you know, that's just, you know, that's why comics rule. You know, we got it all. We got everything.
Yeah.
We have our cake and we eat it too.
Exactly.
My favorite still Jason.
Well, how about you, Luke? Have you been able to read much comics wise lately?
Nah, for shit. No, I'm shamelessly behind in reading anything that isn't my manuals for the games. So the last thing I have read is actually a webcomic called Stag Town, if I recall correctly. Stag Town, like the elk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is in quite describe a very atmospheric, a bit of a. It's not Junji Hito, but there is a bit of a eldritch undertone that builds up the tension until the horror develops. Okay. It's very well written. I found it very interesting and very easy to plow through the whole series because it's a complete series by now.
Mm.
So that's why I managed to finish to read it all.
I'm
So
looking at it right now. It looks great.
it looks really good, right? It's
pretty
very
good.
simple on a surface point, but it has a nice story which develops in some very curious twists that I don't want to spoil.
All right.
And it captivated me. I must say, it really did captivate me.
Is it still,
I can recommend it. Actually,
is it still going or is it over?
it's finished.
I said
It's
the last
complete.
one ended in 2023. It looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty old at this point, I guess, but
Yeah.
it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna bookmark this.
Add it to the list. It will be on the
On
test.
the list, I'll be listening to Avatar while I'm.
Oh yes, yes,
while I'm
please.
reading.
Well, you're alternating between that and Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm gonna get to work and I'm gonna be in a weird mind space.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like Clowncore would probably pair best with the Martian Manhunter. There's some
Yeah, actually,
going on.
That is. Through line. There's a through line to things that I like, I guess.
I'm actually wondering now what music would I suggest to match Stag Town. That's a tough call.
In the meantime, Luca, or any of you, have you ever read that Oni series Black Metal from Chuck Beebe?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
It's very much Chuck Beebe. I don't know if you're familiar. Is awesome artist. He's done some work with the Teen Titans Go cartoon and all that. But before that, he's done a ton of comics, and he's a metal guy. He's done 2 metal albums now, like black metal albums. I had the pleasure of chatting with him about those and all that. He did a black album inspired by the game. I think Shovel Knight is the name of the game.
Oh, really?
Called
Shovel Knight of all things.
The project and the album is called Nosk of the Void. And he did another one, which I'm feeling terrible for forgetting now, but it's also really good. It's kind of aggravating because he's such a great artist, such an awesome dude, and actually like a really good musician too. It's just like, oh man, you got it all.
Names are hard.
But no, black metal it's definitely like, it's from Oni. There's a collections going around. It's very much like, it's about these 2 brothers who are obsessed with black metal, and somehow through the massing and everything, it there's a whole bunch of like end of the world stuff happening, but it's also very like sweet and like,
oh yeah, I like that.
It kind of reminds me of like there was what was the name of that movie? Was it Heavy Trip?
That does ring a bell.
Heavy Trip, about a metal band that gets to go to like play a festival, and it's like this whole like,
yeah, I think I've seen some clips.
Yeah,
didn't
they had a sequel come out called Heavier Trip.
Didn't Baby Metal have a cameo in it?
I think in the second one they have a cameo.
Yeah, that's it.
But anyway, like it is a nice like one and done. It's like it's a big book, but it's really nice. It reminds me a lot of like Beelzebubs and stuff like that, where Beelzebubs definitely has more of a more direct humor to it and all.
Yeah. Which is absolutely amazing.
But it has that vibe and that kind of art, that kind of art style and stuff like that. I think is really cool. But yeah, it's what was it? It's something I definitely recommend for everybody, because I think even though it is, about these guys who love black metal, I think, based on what everybody's told me, like, I think it's a book like you would all enjoy.
Okay.
It would vibe with you all and all that. So I'm sure there's previews of it and stuff online. So it's fairly a few years old, but I'm sure there's plenty of stuff out there to check it out. See if it's up your alley.
Now that you mentioned the meeting of metal musicians and comics, you made me think about Doom Boy, which is one of my favorite comics I have them back here. Which is done by Tony Sandoval. I had to look it up because I'm shit at names. I'm sorry, Tony. It's a very deeply emotional story about a young kid that plays guitar, metal, and it's a take on grief very.
I'm already sold. I'm already in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking if we can compare it to My Neighbor Necromancer, but I don't think so. Our comic is more towards young adults, while Doom Boy has some nostalgia almost in it,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably more appealing to an older audience.
I love the art
think.
style on this. It's great.
It's so beautiful. It's so tender in every aspect. The color is muted, is soft, is emotion. It's deeply raw, emotional. I adore it. It's so cute. And it says they're nominated. I had no idea, actually.
Yeah.
So there you go. Another
Added
name on the list.
Yep.
Well, I think you guys will all be familiar with Murder Falcon from Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah.
Another great
great.
melding of music and art and all that. Not to cut Dillon off from talking about some comics, but your comic, My Neighbor Necromancer, it has a metal feel to it to me. This feels like just like some folk metal kind of going on in the background here. Like
I'm good with that.
I do hear a little Nightwish when I read it. Some of the folkier stuff they got. Maybe some the song Nemo, maybe whatever. But before we delve into that, can you elaborate what if they're unfamiliar, which they shouldn't be, but if they are, what My Neighbor Necromancer is?
Yeah, My Neighbor Necromancer. The wide shot of it is a little girl chases her pet lizard Bibbits into the woods when it runs away, and she sort of stumbles into the wild world of necromancy, and she meets this kind necromancer and finds herself in the middle of this battle between good and evil necromancy. And so we have good necromancy, and she has to learn to raise the dead to save the world.
Plus a lot of cute pets.
Yeah, lots of cute pets. So it was funny. I don't want to. So there's a spoiler for issue 1 for anyone listening who hasn't read issue 1. Turn away for the next 10-20 seconds. When Bibbits dies at the end of the first issue, I've had people come to me like at shows and stuff, or talk to me online. They're like, that would say, "How dare you?" It's always in a jokey manner because they enjoyed the book. They're like, "How dare you do that?" And then I have to be like, "Well, necromancy's in the title, so
bitch, you knew what you bought."
Probably coming back.
Give us some time. Check out the second issue.
But then when Gavin came around in issue 2, I had to be like, nothing bad will ever happen to Gavin. I'll make that's a spoiler for the entire existence of My Neighbor Necromancer. No harm, either physical or emotional, will ever come to Gavin.
That's better.
Yeah. Good. Because I would be one of the people who would be like, with the pitchforks.
Yeah.
No spoiler about Cannoli. Maybe Cannoli will happen.
Yeah, maybe Cannoli. We'll see.
Gavin Squad forever.
Yeah, Cannoli is an issue 3 character that we haven't quite met yet.
Oh, you know what? I'm realizing now that the cat's named Gavin. So in my book, Evie and the Helsings, there's a lot of like background bands or band posters and stuff. And I kind of had a running joke because I know 2 artists named Gavin Smith and Gavin Guidry. And so one of the bands I had in the background was Gavin, and not Gavin. Oh. And now I'm like, I need to have Gavin, and Gavin.
Yeah.
Or Gavin, and not Gavin. Now with Gavin.
now with more Gavin.
And then toss the kitty on drums or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Oh, I'd love that.
But I've had the pleasure of reading the first 2 issues. I backed. I'm going to be backing the 3rd one because I need to see how the story ends. It's an awesome book. You all do such a great job of just like instantly making a world that's accessible, lived in, and Dillon, you do one of the things I love most about writers is that when there's no like feeling of being given exposition. Everything's coming out through conversations. Things, if things are not set, there's showing, not telling. There's all these things, and I'm sure that's, equally, due to Jason's work and Luca's work with keeping the imagery as beautiful as it is, and the storytelling, because Jason, you're no slouch in the storytelling department yourself. There's definitely plenty of shots, especially in the second issue, where I'm like, this is great. This is like, it just I was just scrolling through it again to remind myself, and there's a shot, where is it here, where she's going through the woods. I'll just leave it at that. And just how you decided to like frame that splash, so to speak, but like give us some peeks into stuff, and just like the journey and all that, and some like this, like the little touches, like the fish jumping out of the water that are
there's a big story beyond
that. Yeah, that was a whole thing, actually.
Story behind the fish. Oh my gosh, we can't even get into this.
Yes, we can and we should.
I'm so happy that we managed to accomplish this show Don't Tell, and we've been able to restrain ourselves from dumping exposition every single page. Because like from the beginning, like the story in the world was way bigger than it at the time had any right to be, and it's only gotten bigger, and it keeps getting bigger. Every time Jason turns in a page, it seems like we start talking about other things, and then like it gets bigger and bigger. And like the fish, the fish, there's so I don't want to spoil anything for the future, but like there's so much story behind the fish, and I don't even know if we'll ever get into it, but it's there. I promise.
I totally sympathize. There's so many things like in the books we make that it's like there's so much behind this one little thing here that you do not know. We wish we could tell you about it, but it's like, but also I think that's what, even if it's not said or even being able to express, like it feels like it comes through, like and it's part of the world building. It like, we set up the fact there's this necromancy stuff going on, so why wouldn't this be? Why not to spoil too much, but like, when would you see skeleton fish jumping out of the water? Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And as big and as like kind of like you mentioned, like the story keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And granted, I've read the first 2 issues. I haven't read the 3rd issue, which is the conclusion of this story.
No,
or at least this arc.
The third issue is more or less the halfway point. We still got a couple more issues after this one.
Okay. Yeah. The story up to this point, I was just say.
Yeah.
It still feels like, focused on Jesse, the main character, and it feels like, even if like at this point, or I don't know if it will be in the future, like it's not this like huge world-threatening event thing. It is the biggest thing in her world right now, her lizard, and what's happening, and the way this stuff rolls and keeps going. And I think that's incredibly important, because it's, the stakes, for me, in stories, like I could care less what the stakes are unless it's important for the character.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just telling me, oh wow, the world's going to end. If I don't give a shit, if I feel like the character doesn't give a shit like about the world, then why do I care? Like,
absolutely. And I think that's a sort of a part of the theme of the story too. Like the whole book is, I keep using this term, and some people take it the wrong way, but it's kind of death positivity, about how we handle death, and how children sort of view death, and like when something terrible happens to someone that you love, like you don't give a shit about the rest of the world. The rest of the world doesn't matter to you. This is your world. This one person or this one thing, that's your whole world. And so that when something happens to that, what do you do? Like, you do everything you can to fix it, and like that's your mission, and that's your goal, that's your story. And so I'm glad that came across, because that was something that definitely tried to focus on a bit, and especially the first 2 issues.
It certainly comes across to me, and I'm a lunkhead, so and so if it's that speaks to the quality of the work being done, because even I get it.
Thank you.
Now with the the flow of work, and Dillon, we may have touched on this before, but like how's the process working between the 3 of you? Like, is it full script to Jason does layouts, and you guys pretty much agree, and then Luca's given full reign to like just go nuts, or do you guys what level of collaboration? Because there's no wrong level, real. It's just like
Right.
what's the level of collaboration you all are like working with on things.
It's full script usually. It's full script, and then I'll also if I have an idea that I think I might want to explore, or if I have an idea that I'm not sure about, like I'll ping it over to Jason and Luca and try and get their thoughts on it and see if it would work. But yeah, after that's all set, like I'll do a full script, and part of this is like just because I know how to work with Jason, of like how much detail to give. I'll do just as much as I think Jason wants or how much he needs. I'll put a bunch of reference photos in there to sort of get across what I was thinking, and then I'll send it over to him. And Jason comes back with process like every day. Like he's always checking in and like asking questions about whether this piece is working or this is not working, or he wants to add some stuff. He likes to add extra panels. So it's an ongoing joke that like I'll write fewer panels, and writers usually get a lot of guff for writing too many panels, and it's extra work on the artist. But Jason does the opposite. He likes to add panels.
I wouldn't say I like to add them. I would say I feel compelled.
Yeah, well, I feel
there's an aspect of like what will happen is there will be a page that says it is 5 or 6 panels, and I'll be reading through it, and I'll be like, if I added 2 more panels, this beat would land better.
Yeah,
just a couple.
Just like 2 more, and then I'm like, why is this page taking me 18 hours to finish? I don't understand.
Like
I wonder.
Like, that's a prime example of like the art is making my writing better. Like Jason makes the story better than I make it, and like the story is more than the sum of its parts. Like, and then and so Jason will do all those, and then we'll send it off to Luca, and Luca will make it. We'll go make it shine.
Yeah,
I'll be chilling all the time until the pages arrive. I just have to read the script and chill.
I mean, I think I feel like there's a very like there's a very additive dynamic between the 3 of us, where like I think we all trust each other kind of implicitly within the specific areas of expertise, like, but all of us at the same time will have all of us feel comfortable giving input, even if it's like I've given Dillon story input, he's given me art input, and Luca's given me art input at the same time, and then kind of similarly all of us sort of do that.
We give Luca color input, and he tells us why we're wrong. We're like, oh yeah, you're right. Sorry.
You're often right. I have to point out.
I don't know. There was what was who was it? The ogre in the first issue.
Yeah.
We went back and forth. You both like, yes, we will. We talked about the color of that ogre for so long. I was like, he needs to look more dead and more gray and more muted, and you're like, if I do this, you're not going to see him because he's going to blend in too much with the background. And I was like, damn it, you're right, but he needs to look dead.
But also, I mean, like, even just the color style that we've set up to begin with, like that, that's
not my first choice, actually. You guys push it for less work on my part, actually, somewhere.
What happened is, I think you sent us like an in progress.
I actually I never send in progress. I always finish my pages because I never want to. No, sorry, I interrupted you, but the point is, until I am pretty much satisfied with the way I look, I am too uncertain to send anything over.
Right.
So I feel like I could be fucking up. Let me finish before I send anything over, because I don't want to receive edits. No one does. Yeah. But I have to admit, these guys are right. They often spot, most than often actually, they really have some valid points that always improve the pages, and I've learned to trust them both. We've been working with Dillon for quite a long while by now.
Yeah.
So even though I hate when they do it, and I don't, they have good eyes.
You
If I
know,
have good reasons to not address something, I will tell them.
I
Otherwise,
always love when you give us a hard no.
at some point, someone has to, bro.
No, you're right.
You know, it's, you know, I think as artists in general, it's harder to accept. I know it's not harder. It's more frustrating to accept a note when it's right than when it's wrong.
Yeah.
And
I think
it's
so.
just like, I think so, just because, you know, we're all wanting to do the best work, right? We're all,
Yeah.
the main goal is to make the best comic possible. So there's, you know, a certain amount of, you know, because everyone could say, I don't have any ego about my work. Everyone has to have some amount of ego about their work to think that I'm going to make this book and people might read it, you know,
Right.
even if it's the smallest bit. You have to set whatever you have aside a little bit to take in the criticism of, like, or even if it's criticism, it's like, can we try this? Can we try this? And then if it works better, you kind of get frustrated thinking, like, why did I think of that? As opposed to, like, I'm not listening to you. What do you know? It's like, no, damn it, I should have thought of that. Yeah. I should have. Why didn't I think of this? You know.
Actually, I don't know if it's ego. It's at least in my case, it's more about self-value, literally.
Okay.
Because I invest my self-worth, my skill in some measure, and I try to make the decisions that I think are best, and that best represents my skill, my level.
Yeah.
So if I fuck up, that says something about me.
Yeah. Well, I'm fairly certain that Dillon and Jason have never thought of anything you sent them as being fucked up. It's more like,
well, luckily,
well, unless it's supposed to be, and then it's like,
I wasn't trying to say
we
that,
wouldn't be here otherwise. At least
I wasn't trying to say that, you know, it's about ego specifically. It's just that, you know, there's going to be some sort of level of, whether it is self-worth, ego, because, you know, we do tie a lot of our self-worth in the creative field with what we make.
Of course.
You know, if no one likes the drawing I just did, no one likes me. You know, and you know, I made all the wrong decisions. What am I doing? I shouldn't do this anymore. And then, you know,
that's why social medias are so destructive for artists, because we put so much of ourselves in the work, and then there is 3 likes and 7 visualizations, and what does this say about me? Am I not worth? My work is not worth?
Meanwhile, there's, you know, 1,500 people quote dunking on some AI piece of art, and it's just like, well,
fuck that
you know,
shit, man.
Like, okay, great, it sucks, yeah, but like, could you like spread the word on good stuff you like then? On real stuff? But no, you know, it's you all seem to work really well together. It seems like there's a very strong, cohesive feel to it, in so much that, like, if someone told me that this book was done, you know, at the very least the art was all by one person, I would easily believe it, because it feels so natural that someone who's drawing the lines on here, you know, the choices made with the coloring, it feels like it just ties in so well together that it's coming from like one mind of all that all together. And, you know, so
I did a good job. This is a great compliment.
and to be honest, like the coloring style in this book is like one of my favorite style. Like that realm of coloring is my favorite, because you are, you know, again, it feels flatter than it is, but not in a bad way. It doesn't feel like it's overly rendered.
It's deceptively simple.
Yeah, and it's not that, you know, massively rendered stuff looks bad, because some of it looks really great. It's just like, for this story and everything, it makes everything feel more natural, and it's a very natural setting. And even just the use of the color holds and the backgrounds a lot, and giving the depth to everything, because, you know, the line work alone shows the depth, but like the color, again, in combination with the coloring, it's like it's almost 3D, you know. just on how well it works. There's even like, I'm looking at a page right here, and just like a shot of the back of you know, spacing on the necromancer's name, Sereno, back of his cape, and there's such subtle shading on the folds.
That's Jason's mom, I think.
Wait, what?
Jason's mom gave us feedback on the cape as well.
Well, it depends on the panel, but yes.
Well, it's when Jesse's walking with Gavin, walking away
Oh,
with
for issue
Gavin.
2. Okay, yeah, no,
Okay,
not
okay, okay, okay.
not
That's
that
different.
one. I
That's
think
all.
Not
okay.
the,
That's all.
not Piper Mom.
That's all.
My mom does give us feedback though. My mom is also an artist, so.
Oh, okay.
She's the sweetest.
Nice.
Actually,
Nice.
little Easter eggs. Her art is in both issues.
Oh, okay.
Hidden somewhere.
Yeah, it's there. It's in issue 1, and it's in issue 2. Because I needed wall art, and I was like, "Can I just use your stuff?" She was like, "Yeah, sure."
Awesome,
So.
awesome. But yeah,
You brought up something that I'm very careful about. I would say that's something I paid probably the most attention: plane separation, creating space, along with readability, focus. That's probably one of the things I pay most attention to. Because Jason's art is, and I don't want to suck his dick, is really good. It's literally good. The art itself can stand on its own, so I can try to. My point is trying to build up on it instead of flexing my paintery muscles. So what the best thing I can do is make it have more depth, more space, more breadth that he cannot do with just black and whites.
Yeah,
I have the access to all the colors on the printable palette, so I have the power to push further.
Right.
yeah, and again, the creating that depth, the separation of the planes, like it's done so well that it's just seamless. It just goes through everything, and just even like little things like they're at the house with the gardener, and there's a panel where she's in the foreground and it's with the bananas or whatever, and just a subtle shift of making her darker, like some of the foreground elements with the landscape and all that, but still colored. It's just those little touches like that for me, because I don't do a lot of coloring myself, and and when I love coloring stuff, but like it is such a mess, like to do pages and stuff like that. It's just if I showed you the layers on some of the stuff I've colored, you'd fly from Italy and just come bonk me in the head. And be like, what are you doing? But like,
Buddy, no.
No, you're making it so much harder on yourself. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, why you hate yourself?
Like all that for this, man? I don't know. But no, it is one of those things like I think of, and to me it adds to like, aspirational almost to like, okay, I want to like figure out like how can I kind of incorporate some of this stuff to what I do and all that.
Hey,
Jason, I'm definitely going to be asking you more about art, the art stuff, Jason, but I rarely have colorists on here. So Luca, I don't really get to ask this question, like, but who are your inspirations for colorists in comics?
Ooh, the stuff.
Because there's so many amazing colorists, even from back from the olden days to now. Like,
and I have such a hard time because I always I tend to look for what I'm bad at.
okay.
What I feel like are my weaknesses. That's where I focus. So I do not have I have a hard time picking a specific name, except probably one of my best friends was she retired recently, but was a colorist for the European market, Claudia Palescandolo, and we've worked together before. She has been in business longer than I have, as a bigger curriculum, and she has opened my eyes on most of the European market by herself, along with her painterly style. And I have a hard time stating who I have been looking after. How would you say? That's not the word I'm looking for. referring to or
Okay.
looking up to, because I have a hard time focusing on a single artist.
Mm-hmm.
I open the comic and I see something that is done in a way that I would not have thought. And every time I find something, and every artist is teaching me something, so I have a really hard. And it's not that I don't appreciate their work; it's just there's so much I have to learn, and I cannot remember you all, friends. I'm bad. I need to learn, and you have too many names for me to remember.
You know, I've been trying to educate myself more on, you know, coloring and arts and coloring styles and stuff like that, and taking some deep dives and just, you know, researching some of the ones, you know, from the books I like the most, and, you know, and all that. And someone who's you know, your work kind of in this book kind of reminds me of is unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but Justin Ponser.
Okay.
He did a lot of work with Marvel and all that, but like just like the deceptively simple, you know, in a time where like so many people went hard one way or hard the other way, you know, there's something to be said with like the the level of like rendering he would do. And it's not like a direct one-to-one comparison by any means, but it's just like just that vibe, that feel of like, again, of like, you know, softness and like, but also like
Yeah.
real, you know, feeling more like in a world, and, you know, serving the story through the storytelling, and not overly concerned with showing off all the things you can do, but telling the story, being in service of the story, which ultimately we all should be doing
Yeah.
with comics, and not to show how cool we are and how awesome we can draw things. Those times will come. You know.
Yeah, there are other venues for that. But
Yeah.
this is something that comes up most often when we talk about colors, because of our role intrinsically can make the page, uh, can ruin the page pretty
Mm-hmm.
much from a visual point, merely visual point of view, because the color has such a power on the focus and on the grabbing of the attentions and whatever not. And if you do not make a conscious effort to um, work in service of the line art, that's a good way you put it, to be in service of the story, but in this case, in service of the line art in particular, you really do risk to ruin a page. And that's something that requires versatility, which is a skill that you have to learn, and it's not as common as for the line artists that have to develop a unique signature or be recognizable. Our job isn't to be kind of in the background. We are there. We make things better, but we are the batter of the cake.
Yeah. You're the rhythm section. If we're gonna stick with metal and band terms, you know, you're the bass and
Yeah, I
drums.
kind of like the
You know,
idea of being
keeping it going.
the cool bass player.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a rhythm guitarist. I've never been
Yeah.
the soloist, so I'm perfectly fine. I'm a support player in every
Yeah.
MMO. So
Hey,
this is my role.
if I
I
had a
feel,
choice, would I rather be Geezer Butler or Tony Iommi? I'd rather be Geezer Butler.
yeah,
You know.
I feel consistency and being. I don't need the spotlight. I am pretty happy the way the color, the way my position is as a professional. The most I require is my name on the cover, because I'm really affectionate and attached to the work I do, and it means a lot to me to see my name on the cover, like legitimately a lot. Like it's a
I yeah.
it's a not it's a professional acknowledgement
Mm-hmm.
of all the effort and care and love that we put on on this job. So
Yeah.
that is probably the only big ego thing I have on the
It's not.
industry.
It's not. It's you. You made this book come to life. You deserve to have your name on the cover. I'm full support. Either everyone's credited or no one's credited on the cover. That's how it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah,
Either
I
everyone's on
do.
there or no one. From the letterer to everybody. Like, it doesn't matter. Everyone goes on there. Granted, some people don't care about that. That's fine. Some colorists or
Yeah,
letterers or even artists don't care about the names on the cover. That's your own choice. But like, it should be an option. I feel like for people to have everyone who's contributing creatively to the book to have the opportunity to have their name on the cover. Though I understand that can also be a little bit unwieldy because sometimes a lot
yeah,
of
it
people have
can.
their hands in this book.
And ironically, a colleague of mine, we were talking about this point with other colleagues, and he said he has worked for the bigger names of the industry, and he said, yeah, the point is they don't really have even a form for it. They don't have the template that would include you in the cover. It's just not something that is ever being considered, so it's never done.
And
it's just there. It's old mentality that's still there.
Yeah.
That's why
especially with colorists, it's terrible because I understand back in the day, the way comics were made. Sometimes it was the intern at the desk filling it in right before it's gonna go to the printer or whatever, trying to get it done. But it is so different now. Like lettering, coloring can make or break a book. Bad coloring, bad lettering can completely change how someone enjoys a book. Just as much as bad writing or bad art does, and bad all being subjective, of course. So yeah, I've know personally, and I've seen personally the amount of work that goes into coloring pages. Is it a 1-to-1 ratio with how much is done with the line work? No, but nothing really is. But that's doesn't mean no one's working hard.
Yeah.
The whole writer versus artist debate is always something that's so silly to me because every writer I know and have worked with, like, yeah, sure, maybe the time spent actually typing and writing isn't comparable, but they're doing all the other stuff. Sometimes they're even lettering it, and it's like they're doing a ton of other work on there. So like we're all just trying to bust our ass, and should be credited for it,
Yeah.
And it's really about the feeling of being a team.
Yeah.
It's the cooperative experience of creating something together. So the acknowledgement gets meaning in that purview, in that perspective.
It also takes the edge off. Like, I know the times that I've made books that I'm doing everything. It's a lot more anxiety inducing. Of just like, is this good? I don't even know if this is good anymore. Whereas like if you're
too close to it,
like when you're working with a team, you can be like, this is good still, right? Like, you feel like you have, at least I feel like I have like a little bit of a safety net in terms of quality control to a certain degree.
We're the quality assurance.
Yeah.
Well, I've mentioned this story before to on the show, but like when I first got the colors back on the first issue of our comic Evie and the Helsings, our colorist Jason Millay, who's a fantastic artist in his own right, is when he gave us the colors, they were nothing like I thought they were going to be, but they were still 1000% perfect. And it, I was picturing something, probably completely wrong and overly fussy. And what he did was he just had swaths of solid color, a lot of deceptively simple things happening in there, but it created the vibe and it served the story. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is, if it were me trying to color this, I would have done too much and it would not have felt right. It would not have felt like a band playing on stage or people having conversation in a dark back alley or something like that. It's
I have done too much most of my career, so I totally get the feeling. I have been bad before getting decent, so I totally feel you on that.
Well, we're all artists in either through writing or through line work, and we've all been bad before we got good. And sometimes even when we're good, we think we're bad. I'm sure all of us have something where we're like, man, this sucks bad. And then someone points out to us like, oh, I love this part. I love this thing. So you're like, okay, what do I know? I don't know. You just got to do it.
Yeah, that's why community matters so much in some measure. Because having that feedback and having that professional response from people you respect and whose skill you recognize in first place. So you feel like they have, not entitled is not the word I want to say, but they have you give them the right to have an opinion that you feel is an informed opinion that you respect. Over the opinion of a reader, which is very important because they are whom we are working for in a way, but they do not have the know-how that is behind the scenes, so maybe their opinions are not based on what can be done, but more on what they wish that could be done. Because it's like the client that asks you to make the colors pop, but you have already reached the maximum you can print.
That's my favorite. It's my favorite. My favorite instruction. Make it pop.
Make it pop.
Many years ago, before I became dad and did a lot of work from home, one of the jobs I had at this company was I was mixing paints, custom colors, stuff like that, and I can tell you how many times I presented a color that was matched because the certain we have to spray it on glass and be viewed through glass, and there's certain types of glass you can use, and it's this whole thing. But there's a variation allowed, and I would get these things as close as humanly possible. So much so that everyone's like, this is great, but then like the salesperson or someone would come and be like, oh no, it doesn't, can you do this, and can you make it, can you just make it like shine more or whatever. I'm like, I would literally just go and respray the same thing, bring it back, and say, okay, what do you think of this one? And you're like, oh, it's perfect. And it's the same fucking thing, and it's like, and one time they found out about it and they got mad, but then I said, well, why are you mad? Like, you proved it. Like, I'm not tricking you. I'm sure you could have said it's the same thing.
You were happy.
But I'm showing you, like, it's, some people just want an opinion on things.
There was,
and sometimes they do.
To further that point, my wife likes to tell this story of when she worked at Michael's long ago, and a customer came up, and I think the brand of the paint was Plaid, and she goes, and it was plaid colored, or maybe I'm pretty sure the brand was Plaid, but something about the can said Plaid. And this woman comes up, this customer, and she goes, how do they get it to do that? Like, the paint comes out in a plaid color? And she was like, no.
It's no, sweetheart.
The point is,
bless your heart.
People don't know anything. Some people just don't know.
Well, asking is fine. I don't mind if you ask.
It's more so the insistence that they know something you don't, or they, and granted, sometimes people can be right with that, but it's also like, you can recognize, it's getting to a point where you can recognize where it's like, okay, you're just wanting to say something about this because you have nothing else to say about it. You just want an opinion, and that's that. But also, artists, we always are at some level of unhappy with what we do because it never looks like what it looks like in our head.
Oh no! Raise your hand if you want to recolor everything you've done up to this day.
Whatever terms you want to use. Art's never finished; it's abandoned. It's
just abandoned in different states of imperfection.
Or there's this
perceived.
To badly paraphrase another person, Ira Glass, I think, had a quote similar to like, we never catch up to our tastes.
Ooh, nice
our skill never catch up to our tastes, because when we get better, it's still not gonna match to what we like, because our tastes are improving as well.
The goalposts.
Yes, it's a constant movement. So it's this giant flux of like chasing something. But when we get to that point to where like, hey, this actually looks pretty good. You look back and look at something, like, I think once every artist, and if you stick with it, you get to that point, because there's definitely stuff I can look back, even I drew 6 months ago, where I'm like, okay, maybe I could do that better now. And then other times like, no, I cooked that day. I did a good job. I did a good job too,
Yeah.
and just being able to say that to yourself is huge as an
Yeah,
artist,
for sure.
in whatever medium you're working in. Jason, I've been no quiet person about how much I love your digital dry brushes and
I'm
how
so
much,
glad that you like them.
you know, I
Good.
was my wife, often asked me like, oh, who are you talking to today or whatever. And I was explaining and I just given a quick rundown and I said, oh yeah, artist Jason, great artist. Really love these brushes they made. And I was kind of going, she's like, and I was like, kind of like really gushing about them. And she's like, oh, wow, you really like them, huh? And I'm like, well, I said, because like most of the time when someone has like custom brushes, it's kind of tailored to what they do in terms of like, it looks like them. Cause I've made a ton of custom brushes for myself. That is just stuff I do. And it's just to speed up my process in that sense.
Mhm.
And for your dry brushes and all that, they just feel like good brushes that I would be using as a tool, not that I'm trying to make this look like something Jason does, and
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of like digital art tools are kind of like, for better or worse, or for intended or not, lean that way, because it's the
Mhm.
artist like, oh, here's this thing I really like, because there's a ton of like double outline brushes for like shoelaces and stuff like that, but
Right.
they so many of them, I'm like, they don't match what I'm doing. Like they don't match my lines.
Right.
It seems out of place.
Mhm.
So, I've been, I just like, I have to make my own, and stuff like that. If I want to have a brush that does this
Right.
or whatever. Now I know you work digitally, but like, is working digitally something you've done primarily, or were you a traditional person that switched to digital, or do you like to flip flop between them?
I professionally, I've been almost entirely digital. So I started doing professional work out of college, which was in like 2012. I mean, like doing professional work, not like as my only
Mm-hmm.
job. But I was still mostly like, I was at least, I think, still penciling traditionally, and
Okay.
then kind of dipping my toe into like digital inking. And then once, I think it was in like 2014 when the Creative Cloud thing happened, and I was like,
Okay.
well, I have no money for this, so
Yeah.
what else can I do? And I switched to Clip Studio Paint, and that's when I was like, oh,
This kind
this
of
Well, this is
works.
actually,
good.
yeah, this actually like feels comfortable to draw in, which I
Yeah.
never feel comfortable to draw in with
Mm-hmm.
Photoshop. I never did. And so I just sort of, that's sort of when I was like, I'm just gonna work fully digitally.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But your
so I
lines are
guess
still very organic, so you don't even
Yeah,
don't,
it's
you wouldn't notice
nice.
otherwise.
Well,
no.
so that's the thing that I've always tried to do. Like I don't. I mean, I don't want to like, I don't want to crap on other people's work, but when things look like overly digital, it I don't like it. For me specifically, I don't like it. Like I want there to be some like tooth to whatever I'm drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even though I'm working digitally, I'm still kind of following a more traditional workflow. Like I'm still doing thumbnails and then I'm blowing the thumbnails up and then I'm usually penciling over them. Although I've started to just draw my backgrounds, like go straight to inks if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially if it's like trees and stuff, because then it's
Yeah.
mostly organic forms anyway. Um, but I'm still following like a pretty standard traditional process. So I try to just keep everything as traditional looking as I can. Because also just like I don't like drawing with brushes that are like uh I like having like a little bit of gradation at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning and end, because I tend to like be a little bit unconfident with some of my lines, so I'm like, I want to kind of ease into this. I don't want to, which is why some of the dry brushes have that kind of effect of like, you
Yeah.
can like, the light pressure is not like a full black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's one of the things I love about them, because like when you are using an actual dry brush, you're not getting a full black every swipe you're doing. You're getting
Right.
some lightness there. When I started drawing digitally I really went all in 2020 when I got an iPad,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it took me finding the right digital brush that felt close enough to what I would use traditionally
Yeah.
to give me the line I gave. And it wasn't a perfect line. I'm very heavy handed. Like even, you know, when I draw traditional stuff now, I know it doesn't look exactly the same as when I do digital because I'm just so damn heavy handed. Everything's so thick and lines are so thick. So I'm trying to work on that. But like with you know, with an iPad, like my brain works differently because I'm like, I can't press as hard as I normally would. I will break the screen. I will like, you know, like there's times where I'm drawing stuff and I see my little screen like bouncing almost, you know, and I know it's supposed to be a little
You're
flexible and all
asserting
that,
dominance.
but then I'm like, oh, or I can't death grip the Apple Pencil because it's just gonna hurt
Right.
me
If you
later.
snap it, it's more expensive than if you snap a
Yes,
pencil.
yes, you know, I don't care how much people say Copics costs. You know, you don't want to break an Apple Pencil.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely that, and that, you know, making things not look too digital or like too clean is always something I don't think I'm perfect with it by any means. I'm trying more and more and more to do that. Because even when I do things that like I may be using a straight line tool or something like that to achieve, like I've been trying to go back over it freehand, just trying to get that look on there and all that.
Yeah.
You know, there's some things that I don't mind because you know, I draw a lot of guitars in my book, so I literally just drew a bunch of guitars, essentially almost like blueprints versions of them, and make
Right.
guitar brushes, so I can just like pencil them in,
Right.
and then
Right.
just ink over it, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and go over it a bit more. You know, I did the same thing with like strings. Luke, you might appreciate this. I actually made a string brush that has gauged strings, so thickest
Oh,
to lightest. They're not all the
Nice.
same. And I had some that are
Nice.
regular size, and all that. But like, you know, that was my one caveat I allowed myself because, you know, for me, if I see somebody draw a guitar or something and it's off model and it looks weird, I don't care. I
Mhm.
do it. I fucking
I
hate
do
it.
care.
Right. Yeah.
I do care. Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like I'm pretty hard on myself about little stuff that I wouldn't care about if somebody else did.
Yeah, it's like, or you know, like I try to
Aren't we
remind
all?
myself of that. Like even when I look at original art at shows or list online and stuff, I try to find the flaws because to me they're perfect as they are. But like
Right.
if you see like, oh, you know, Cliff Chang actually has a couple of stray lines over here, like who cares?
Right.
You know, so why should I care if I have a couple
Yeah.
of stray lines here?
I've
You know?
been trying to be more forgiving feels a little bit too much, but I've been trying to be like more open to like
Mhm.
letting things be a little bit looser in
Yeah,
certain spots.
yeah.
If it's not like the main focus of a panel or a drawing or whatever, just like that can be a little scribbly. That's okay.
Yeah, let the colors deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Faster.
Yeah. Pass more work off onto Luca. It's
Luca,
okay.
fix this line.
Yeah.
Make sense of this, whatever it is.
Well, you know, it is that, you know, struggle with everything because, you know, for myself personally, like I'd stopped drawing for well over a decade and kind of like slowly picked it back up in the mid to late 2000s and started still ramping up more and more and more. But I never really had that phase where I like was copying somebody or like doing a lot of other stuff. I'm someone who like I have to learn by doing and failing. So like even like if it's drawing or if it's music, like if I'm trying to write like a solo for a song, like I don't have, I've tried so many times, I don't have the mental lock-in mode to like sit there and practice my scales and gradually increase speed and put that stuff together. No, I have to sit there for 2 hours and, you know, do 50,000 takes of each little part until I get it to where I want it to be, and then I can paste it together, do it a few times, do it, and then move on. Same thing with, you know, and with art, I learned by doing comics and making comics. So like every comic I have out there is like me, that's my sketchbook. That's me learning, you know, and it's,
Right.
I'm failing in public. So I'm kind of used to that feeling. Until, you know, and there's also like, you know, trying to find, you know, figure out what my style was. That was the, I fell in that trap. You know, we all fall into that trap. Like, what's my style? You know, what do I draw like? And it's like,
What makes me me?
yeah, exactly. And then, you know, it wasn't until I switched to digital and all that, and I just kind of like let go of all that I was just trying to get stuff done, then I overbooked myself with things, and I started getting stuff done. Then I kind of found out what my style is, and then I realized like, okay, I can't draw like Adam Kubert. No one can, but but you know what I mean. It's like that's like Mark Silvestri, Adam Kubert, those are my guys.
Yeah.
So I still have trouble drawing Wolverine because it doesn't look like they're Wolverine, and it's wrong. So for you, Jason, like I can't I look at your stuff and I don't see like I can't like pinpoint immediate like influences, which that's bad. It's not bad if you can, because we all have our influences. I like to pick it out from people just because it helps me figure out the DNA of what they do.
Yeah.
Because we all have it. But who are do you feel like are your biggest art influences in how you draw today?
I think so today specific, I mean, not like today, but like in my professional career, like obviously like I grew up with, wanting to emulate like Jim Lee and stuff like that. But I would say I think Paulo Rivera is like a really big influence on me.
Okay.
Mignola, for like a totally different reason than Paulo Rivera. They're I wouldn't say they're opposites, but it's like, their work is different. Somni and Javier Rodriguez are definitely like becoming that for me. Like I'm trying to pull stuff from them. What's his name? Where did I put it? Oh, I put it away. The guy, what's it? Andre Arujo, the guy who does like
yeah. Andre. I know exactly.
He has three names, and I always forget what his name.
Yeah, it's like like Mobius level fine line work.
Yeah, well, and Mobius too. Like Mobius is also like an influence. My influences are I guess kind of all over the place. I mean, not that those are super different in terms of their looks, but yeah, I mean, probably the top two are Mignola and Rivera would be my go-tos. But like then Eminem is a huge influence. Yeah, I mean, I'm just naming people that I like. I guess there might be a difference, but
I mean, I think maybe like I could see some aspects of Eminem, but just mainly in like the organicness of like the line. It's again not like a 1-to-1 comparison, though I doubt you'd be offended if I said it was.
No,
because I cut off my left arm to draw like Stuart Eminem. If that's the case. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I like seeing the influence because I want to see the DNA, I want to see it all. So it's always interesting to me what I see and then what people say is. And I was just like looking at just scrolling through the issues. I'm like and kudos to you for that, because I'm just like, it just looks good. Like I don't see like this.
See what I mean?
This looks good. Like,
I think so. One thing that I've sort of noticed, I have trouble seeing what my style is if it's there. Like I feel like I see a consistency within my work, but I can't. To me it looks very generic a lot of the time, because it's just what my work looks like, and I'm like, it just looks like my own work. This is like I get
what
like
did you
frustrated.
expect?
Which is it's like I will, but what I'm trying to
I know what you're saying.
But there's that aspect, but I also feel like project to project there's like little variances between the way I draw. Like the way that I draw Necromancer pages is like slightly different than the way that I draw like Binary C or Starset Delivery, which is my creator owned book that I haven't done very much with recently. And then like I work with a doctor on like medical comics, and those are like totally different. Those
Yeah.
are like it's like they're all kind of like on a spectrum, but it's I don't even like do it on purpose. It just sort of happens because of what the script is, which is like a weird thing that I've been seeing. Is like I don't
Like
know.
It's
No,
not
a
weird.
writer's colorist,
no.
where you form their lines.
Yeah, it's like yeah, kind of. Yeah, like based on what the story needs, I sort of have like a implicit vision of the way that I'm seeing how it should look, I guess.
You wouldn't draw superheroes the way you draw our comic.
No, I don't yeah, I don't think I would. I
So
haven't drawn very
there you
much
go.
superhero stuff, at
That's all there
least.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get it because I'm working on a couple other pitches on top of the Evie and the Helsing stuff, and I am feeling like I am it's very similar in most aspects, but I'm also like I can be a little different with this. I can push
Mhm.
this kind of thing a little bit more. This kind of serves this more and all that. And it's nice, in my own brain to be able to feel like I can do that and
Right.
I'm capable of doing that, as
Mhm.
opposed to like I'm just holding on for dear life, hoping no one says I suck and kicks me off this book. So
A known feeling.
it's like and for me it's it kind of like is almost like an artistic second wind where you're like, oh, what would it look like if I draw X? What would it look like if I draw
Mhm.
this?
Right.
And I'm a huge kaiju fan, and like I
Oh,
don't really draw a
nice.
lot of kaiju.
Mhm.
So like I've been taking every opportunity I can to draw more kaiju, and I got to draw Godzilla's enemy Destroya for the first time, and
Nice.
that was like some of the most fun I've had drawing, and I did it traditionally, and it was got to use a splatter and all that stuff, and it felt
Yeah.
like, just being able to push, like, even though it's like, not super stylistically different from what I do, it felt nice to be able to like, this is something I've never done before. Let me see what this looks like with me. I think it's going to be pretty cool, and that seems to be, I think kind of like what your approach is like. You're getting the script like, okay, this is what this is. This is what this is. And
Right.
having the ability to do that is I think extremely underrated. Like a friend and one of my favorite artists, Mike Norton, like he's done so many books and so many styles, and you know he's someone I look at. I'm like, he can just draw anything. Give him anything, he can draw it. Will it look like Mike Norton drew it? Yeah, but there's certain things he does differently for a superhero book versus his Battle Pug book versus Revival
Mhm.
versus any uh he recently had a book called The Rock Gods of Texas of Jackson, Tennessee, about like a coming of age 80s band story with
Cool.
mutant warhogs and in the
Oh, that
background or
sounds
something like
cool.
that. It's legitimately one of my favorite graphic novels, period. Like it is
Oh,
like the best like 80s teen, like earnest 80s teen movie with something crazy shit happening that you've never seen. Like it's insane,
Wild Boys.
Yeah. Yeah, I highly recommend it if you're into that kind of like that kind of story. But yeah, so like hearing your approach on that, like it's great to hear, because I know so many other artists who kind of like that kind of seems to be like the prevailing opinion, like I don't have to draw the same way for everything all the time.
Mhm.
There's always like this worry of like, oh, no one's gonna know it's me, no one's gonna know it's and at this point it's like, making comics, especially independent comics, it's like it doesn't matter. Like the person who loved your one comic here is probably not the same audience as you're gonna love this comic here. So it really doesn't
Right.
matter if you keep it 100% the same.
I mean, I feel like there's kind of like a parallel to like character acting, right?
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm,
movie
mm-hmm.
star versus character actor
That's a perfect analogy. Yes.
of like yeah.
Yeah. It's just I just know I see Jason Piperberg's drawing this book. It's gonna look good. Do I
Oh,
know
thanks.
exactly what it's gonna look like? No, it's gonna look good. So
That's a
yeah,
good start.
I love that
Thanks, man.
analogy, character acting. It's like because we love making our analogies for what comics, the organization comics, the director, the producer, the whatever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
character actor feels like such a like I've never heard that one before. That feels like
Is
such a
really good.
perfect
Yeah.
analogy for any of the creative positions in the book. Like that we it's an ensemble of character actors. Like
Yeah.
it's that's I love that idea. I love that idea a lot.
Thanks.
Dillon, not to sideline you
No,
with the writing aspect.
More than happy to give the talking points over to Jason and Luca. I'm just having a good time listening.
I've had you guys on for quite a bit. It is dawn, sun shining behind Luca now.
Hey,
I've seen the sunrise in Italy now.
Yeah.
Right.
it's not the first time you do.
It's midnight by me. I don't know what time it is by you guys. I would love to keep you even longer. I do have to fulfill one promise to myself, and that is just a quick asking you guys about those guitars in the background, because I would, I'm like a dog chasing a squirrel when I see guitars. I gotta go. Dillon needs a guitar. Fund My Neighbor Necromancer, and Dillon will buy himself a guitar to hang in the background.
Yes, we're gonna make it a stretch deal.
Stretch goal. Buy Dillon a guitar. He doesn't have to learn how to play. He's just got to hang it in the background and make it look cool.
But, you gotta go to girls. Oh, you have already one, so fuck it. No girls for you.
But Jason, I see you got a nice looking acoustic back there. What's
yeah, that's there's like a little ukulele behind it, but it's
how cute.
That's
for when you have to post apologies on YouTube.
Exactly, yeah. Hopefully I won't have to do that. It's a Godin Seagull. I don't know what the model is, but I bought it on eBay when I was in college, I think.
Okay. Yeah, a friend of mine had a Seagull for a good long time. Those are like, if I remember, it's a real big sounding. Like, acoustic.
It's very it's really full sounding. I probably need to get it tuned up. But it's a nice guitar.
I kind of do envision you on the beach playing guitar on the around the bonfire.
Oh, yeah.
That's how he practices his necromancy. He plays guitar.
Exactly.
Raising something else.
Oh my. Oh. I was gonna make a joke about fish, but I'm just gonna let it
go. We've all felt about it.
How about you, Luca? What you got behind? I see it's a single cut. Is that an ESP?
This is my LTD.
LTD, okay.
Is my favorite one because it's a 7 chords, 7 strings, not 7 chords. Nice. 7 corde in Italiano is strings, so it's not. And I got it expressly 7 strings because I wanted to. As I said, I'm a rhythm guitar guy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to chug the fuck out, and I was sorely needing the 7th string to go even deeper, and I'm pretty happy with it. And it's pretty much the only guitar I play anymore because the other guys are strapped on the wall like yours, pretty much, and they don't see the sunshine anymore. They're just hanging there on the wall to be happy about their retirement, pretty much. I do have how's it called? A Revenge, the Kerry King signature.
Okay.
But not the American version. I have the secondary.
Very pointy guitar.
No, is this? How's it called? The secondary crafter. I don't recall what's the correct verbiage. The correct vocabulary. It's not the one that is made in America. It's the one that's made by a subsidiary. That's probably the word.
Okay. We would call them imports. Like it's an import, or it's a.
Yeah, it's an import. But for us, it's all imports, so you cannot use that. Yeah, that's the problem with the original ESP and such, because you have to pay even more for the shipping and whatever not. So they get pretty expensive over here. So that's why as a poor broadcast artist, I went for the not really knockoff, but close to first, let's say.
Well, that brand I like, Firefly. They announced they're coming to the UK, so I don't know if Italy's that far behind. But then
those
again,
fuckers
you
in
got
the UK just left Europe, so it does not help.
you got Toman near the Harley Benton brand, and I have a Harley Benton that bass.
Oh, that's the big guy. Okay.
The Ernie Ball. Oh, that's probably too dark in here.
It's a bit dark, but I
but
did
it's
see a big a
it's
big
a
butt.
Ernie Ball. It's an Ernie Ball like knockoff looking bass. It's a great sounding
Okay.
bass though. It's like, again, super cheap. And then I have where is it? I don't know if you could see right here, like this reddish one
Okay,
in the
yeah.
back here. That's like their Super Strat with a Floyd Rose on there that I got.
Ooh.
And I, this isn't a brag because again, they're all reasonably priced, acquired over many, many, many years. But like I have like 22 guitars
Wow,
in
brother.
various states. I don't have any 7 strings though.
What do you mean
Because
7 states? Like
in several
regions
states
or conditions?
conditions.
Okay.
Conditions. Like this main one right behind here, the black Les Paul looking with the gold pickups.
Okay.
That's another Firefly one, like an under $200 guitar.
Oh,
The
I thought
pickups
that
aren't
was
hooked up. They're not hooked
I
up.
might be wrong. It's not Math Efi has a signature like that?
Oh, like the Epiphone, yeah, the Epiphone.
It is, right?
That's what he has. This is a Firefly. It's like their Black Beauty, like the Les Paul Custom with the fancy like headstock design on there.
Cute. Nice.
That was originally my James Hetfield knockoff guitar, but it didn't really sound great with the cheap with the other pickups, so I swapped them out, but I haven't hooked them up yet.
What is your style? Do you keep a different guitar in different tuning, or you use?
They're all different tunings.
Okay.
They all serve a different. Like it may seem like what's the difference, but like a lot of them are just like in different tunings. Like I have 2 baritones.
Mm-hmm.
One's in drop G, one's in drop A.
Okay.
I have a Fender Bass 6, which is like, it looks like a guitar, but it's tuned a whole octave lower like a bass.
Okay.
So
cool.
A lot of like really low heavy bands use those.
What kind of strings you're mounting on that though? The thicker ones?
They're a special. I have to buy the official Fender Squire strings for it or whatever. They're the only ones that have the scale length that fit. And then like, can you see this polka dot one? That was from a kit, like $100 kit I bought, and I wanted to do a Jack Kirby Cosmic dots on a guitar, so I just did that. And then that silver one behind it, that's a Firefly baritone, again, cheap. And then this one was free. This is a Firefly SG.
Oh, it was the one with the Heathfield model.
No, this is the Firefly, again, that cheap brand, because I got and you can see this gold one here, this gold SG looking one. My wife bought me that for my birthday, and it came and the neck was broken.
Oh,
so they sent this as a replacement, but the neck break was such a clean break, I was able to glue it and it works perfectly fine.
Wow,
nice. So I got like
that's lucky.
A free good. I was like, it's like yeah, it's like such crazy like luck with some of these things.
Unfortunate at the same time, fortunate. Not gonna complain.
Yeah. This one, not even $100 guitar. My wife just got it for me for our anniversary because she knows I was eyeing up a cheap Telecaster looking guitar, and this has a super thin strings on it. I just use it to twang away if I feel like playing something a little mild rock.
I kind of like the wood finish. It's pretty
nice.
rare though.
It's clear. It's the frets were a nightmare. I had to file those down, but
Oh,
this was the free one. This is the free Solar.
Oh, the one you mentioned.
Yeah, the Super Strat. This thing is amazing. I love this thing. I wrote a lot of, because for the book I do, Even Helsings, I write, for stretch goals, I was writing songs.
Oh,
no vocals, but like songs, like hard rocky metal songs that I was hoping to get female vocalists to do, but I haven't been able to find the right person at the right price.
And there we go back to Nightwish and all the epic stuff.
Yeah. So, but like this one, it's become a go-to for that. But like even like that the one I got free, like that one's tuned to drop B, and I use that for just like fuzzy doom metal stuff.
The good kind, yes.
Because that's just the vibe it gives. For me, I'm like whatever vibe the guitar gives me. And then I have some other ones floating around. I have a regular Strat in a kit that my wife got for me for my. See, I told you my wife got me like most of these things.
Yes,
so it's like,
you weren't joking.
Does your wife, does your wife hate all the guitars? I'm like, I mean, I'm sure she wished I had less, but like she's part of the problem here.
She knows how to keep you happy.
You know, and I don't have a PlayStation 5 or all the latest other stuff people have. This is kind of my
But you have really strong fingertips.
Well, I was primarily bass player. I started off on bass, so I kind of feel like I'm a bass player.
Extremely strong fingertips.
I love my basses. If I were to join a band again, I'd be probably just want to play bass. But
cool guy, yeah.
It is what it is. I don't know why this turned into me showing guitars. I just wanted to see your guys' guitars. Of course, I'm an easy mark. I'm an easy, I'm like the father who pulls out the pictures of his kids. Like, oh, look at this one. Look what he's doing. It's like no one cares. No one cares.
I went to vacation. Here's 127 pictures.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just keeping you guys up later, and I don't need to be doing that. To look at my guitars.
This is fun.
No, seriously though, I thank you guys so much for all the time you've given me today. This has turned out pretty long episode, but I've had a lot of fun chatting with you guys. I would love to do it again shortly. We even get onto the fact that the editor of the book, Michelle Abinator, big time friend of the show, she's actually going to be on in a couple weeks with something else.
I'm going to see her this weekend at Boston Con. I'm tabling there, so I'll see her.
Oh, nice, awesome.
Is that where you're doing the free signing stuff?
Yeah.
Just to drop that in.
Yeah, just to drop. Yeah. Good plug.
Hey, it's not gonna be aired in time. Yeah, anyway.
It's not gonna be up in this weekend, but editing before it goes live. But this weekend I'll be tabling at Fan Expo Boston, August 8th through the 10th. And if you bring an email confirmation that proves that you backed My Neighbor Necromancer #3 on Kickstarter, then you will get a free autographed print from my table.
Nice. Yeah. That's a win-win for everybody, I think.
Yeah. Especially for us.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, this show will be posting most likely on the 20th.
Yeah.
But you'll still have
a little late.
You'll still have 2 weeks.
Late. If you have a time machine, then you can go.
Yes.
No, you'll still have 2 weeks to back the book.
Yeah, for sure.
It ends on September 3rd, my birthday, so as
please
a birthday present to me, everyone go back this book.
Yeah, please.
And check this out, because I want more My Neighbor Necromancer. I want all 6 issues and more if possible afterwards. I want this book to keep going and chugging along because I need to see where the story goes. It's an awesome book, awesome creators, awesome people.
I don't need a crystal ball to tell you that by the time this episode comes out, we'll be stressed the fuck out because we've been close to reaching the goal, but not there and yet.
Well, as of recording, you're getting close to halfway.
Yeah, we're
doing good.
We're
actually
currently doing better than we have in any of the other campaigns.
Ever.
That doesn't mean it's not stressful, and we're not going to be ripping our hair out.
We're still gonna rip our arrows.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I
feel good about where we're at.
Yeah. Like I said, we with our first campaign for Evie and the Helsings, we were lucky somehow to have funded early. It was still like hair pulling because you're worried about wait, is like half these people going to drop out? What's going on? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are we going to make stretch goals? And then it's like, or did we just get everyone who's going to get the book and it's just going to stay still waters until the end? So it's like you're constantly worrying. This most recent campaign for the hardcover, which will still be going on when this comes out, it's a more even keeled. We're just over 50%. We got a few weeks left, so there's a fairly consistent tick. There seems to be a bad habit of whenever we send out an update, we lose a pledge.
Oh, no.
That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, that doesn't seem
like. Are we reminding people oh wait, I changed my mind?
Shit, I backed this shit.
I'm sure. Yeah,
fuck that.
It was funny because Steve mentioned that to me. It seems like this. I'm like, what? And I just looked at the timeline. I'm like, oh shit, you're right. And then literally he sent out an update, and the most recent person to back then canceled their pledge.
Oh my gosh,
this is so stressful.
I know well enough that Kickstarter is anything can happen. Things happen. You pledge for a book, you're like, oh wait, shit, my car broke down. I can't do this. I got to cancel it or whatever. Yeah. All that stuff happens. It's never taken personally. It was just it would have been funny if it didn't happen at that point, I think. Not Not that we want it to keep happening,
Right.
but so I understand. I'll be right
Please
there
stop.
with you. But I'd be shocked if this wasn't funded by the time this post. And if it isn't, what the hell's wrong with the people listening? Go fund it right now. If you've listened this long, then what else do we got to tell you, man? Like, it's a beautiful book. It's a great story. Jesse's an awesome character. Do it for Bibbits. Do it for Gavin.
Bibbits.
Yes.
Yeah, do it for Bibbits.
Do it for Gavin. Like it's a really awesome book, and it definitely deserves to have as big an audience as possible. So anything I can do to help out, gentlemen, let me know. Dillon will talk more about some stuff we're talking about later. Yeah. But yeah. So before it becomes afternoon by Luca, it's I guess I should give you all your leave. Thank you all so much for coming on. I would love to have you on again whenever you want, for whatever you want.
Happy to.
Open invite for all of you. So yeah, thanks again, gentlemen. And now it's time to let everybody know where they can find you on social media, and I'll make sure there's links to everything in the show notes below, so they can go and check it out and follow you and back the book and do all the good stuff. So Dillon?
Yeah, you can find me on all the socials. I'm at Dill Gilbertson. Dill with 2 L's, last name Gilbertson. And then you can find My Neighbor Necromancer on Kickstarter. You can just go to necrocomic.com. It'll bring you right to it.
That's naming.
Yeah, you can find me on socials at Jason Piperberg, and you can check out my website if you want, which is just jasonpiperberg.com, and go to necrocomic.com like Dillon said.
Do I have to repeat necrocomic.com as well?
No. You just did, but no.
Yeah. That's the joke!
You do.
Well, you can find me on few, actually, no, everywhere, if my account is still active, as Malkamok, because my name is very common, so, hey, hard name. If you Google Malkamok, you'll find me somewhere, somehow. If it's active, it's me. Hi. Say hi. Click like, subscribe to this guy, and whatever. Do all the Google stuff. I'm doing the outro for you now.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna do it right now.
Hey, that's me.
I'm pretty sure I follow both of you, Jason and Dillon, already. If not, I'll make sure I correct that as well. Go follow these fine gentlemen. Go buy their book. It's an amazing book. I'm gonna keep saying it's an amazing book until you buy it. So shut me up and buy the book. Once again,
if you don't like it, it's his fault.
Yeah, you can blame me. Don't blame them. Blame me. But yeah, do it for Bibbits. Do it for Gavin. Do it for Dillon, Jason, and Luca.
Actually,
thank you so much. Go ahead.
Do it for us, and it's a good time too, because there are all the 3 books are in the Kickstarter. It's not just the 3rd one.
Yes,
I did fail to mention to bring that up.
Yes, you can get you can catch up immediately. That's the best part about these kinds of Kickstarters too. It's like if you miss the first 2, you don't have to hunt them down. Yeah. They're right there. Go get them.
And we love you anyway.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.